All right.
Okay, so we're live. Fantastic. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This is Bantu TV. We're broadcasting live, of course, from various studios here in Ontario, Canada. We're just broadcasting live of course, powered by our very own uh, Red Tag Media. And my name is Sanda Chilufia. We welcome you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us today, taking the time out of your busy schedule to discuss various topics of the week that have been trending. And yes, of course, we've got our very own in-house permanent secretary, Bachanda Gazia, who's here to obviously give us those checks and balances that, of course, every government or governing government needs. So, Wakazia, welcome to the show.
Wow, thank you very much, and the pleasure. New Brunswick, Fredericton, which is near Halifax and St. John, for those that may not be very well acquainted with the Canadian geography.
Mm. How's the weather there, by the way?
Today is -5. We don't have
Oh,
snow, but it's just cold breeze, I think. Yeah,
yeah.
it's quite cold.
Okay. As we expect, as because we're in the winter period right now as we speak.
Yeah.
So here in the Niagara region, of course, today is actually it looks nice. The sun is out. It's beautiful, and it looks very very nice. I think after the program we might have to go and you know take a little walk with my son. So in any case, things have been trending this week, Bakazia, and we've seen a lot of things happening in terms of politics. Uh, Vamumbi Piri, all of a sudden, she's again arrested. Does trouble follow her, or does she follow trouble? Like, what's going on here? Because every time she goes into this politics scene, she finds herself, behind bars. What's your take on that, Bakazia?
I don't think she follows trouble. She's very assertive in
Mm,
terms of standing up when she sees something that is wrong.
mm,
She's not that person who would look away when she feels there's an injustice that is being committed,
mm,
or when she's that she's very 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 assertive, and she can confront anyone anytime if she feels that something is wrong. What I was expecting was if you know, firstly that Ramundipiri is a citizen like any one of us, and she's under the leadership of the current government that is leading. She's a
mm,
taxpayer. She's the employee of all government workers, the people that draw money from government. She is their employee, and they are the servants. So she can be upset about certain things that she doesn't see to be good. And when she does that, it is very important to go back and check and question what she's alleging. If she's alleging something, it's important that we go to the basics before we go to the outcome. For me, I would have loved to see a scenario where people say what Mundi was alleging did not happen, and the proof of not happening is ABCD. Therefore, because this and that was not happening, we are thinking of taking this course of action. I think the behavior was disruptive, but it was not aggravated robbery. The behavior, yes, was disruptive. Probably there was a way that it could have been handled better, but to come and lump on her that it is aggravated, whatever, and she stole 20,000 watch and stuff like that. That is a creation which I don't think Mumbi has the capacity to go in there and in the midst of all the people that were there, still 20,000 watch and report. I don't think that is the way. The behavior was disruptive. Yeah, and I think up to that extent, it wasn't probably the right thing to do, but because it is what has been happening for most of the time, where the guys that are in opposition complain, they tell you about how they feel not being treated right, but they are not meant with help that is required for them to be helped. Therefore, you see such kind of disruptive behavior. So that is what I saw from it's not that that was aggravated. No.
But here's the thing, let's analyze things as they are.
Yes.
Okay. A crime. Okay, we can all agree that a crime was committed.
Okay.
Or during that period. Now, why would she find herself all the time when there's a promotion? All the time when there's a commotion, all the time when there's some sort of a fracas between the UPND camp and the PF camp, she's in the forefront. Why is she always in those areas? Why not anybody else? What about, because there are so many other PF officials that were there? Why are they not mentioned? Okay, so that's the big question I'm trying to find out. I'm like, does she follow does she like to trouble? Does she like trouble?
You see, it's not that she likes trouble. That's why I was saying that, and then she has a specific role to play within the patriotic front, and that role that she plays is a role that probably other people are scared of doing. She does what people are scared of doing, especially in as far as injustice is concerned. So there could be a lot of PF members that are around there, but they may not have the courage that Mumbi has, and they can approach things from a different angle. The point is, no matter what is wrong, yes, if the crime was committed, but certainly not the crime that has been lumped. You understand? It's like the way people came out when President HH was charged with treason for a matter they thought was a traffic offense, isn't it?
Yes.
The crime was committed there, isn't it? Huh? The crime was committed there. But the nature of the crime is what people say, no. Yes, this is disruptive. It's not right for you to do what you've done, President HH, but it is not what you've been lumped with. And you could hear people talk about it when he was being given the charge at the police. Said, hey, say something else, what that? Now, this is a decision that this is a direction that the UPND government came with to come and change that kind of thinking. To say if a person is jaywalking, you don't arrest him and say, oh, aggravated robbery for jaywalking, and then you go and land him there, even when you know that the facts are speaking to something different. So for me, I'm saying yes, the behavior was disruptive, but not what has been given. She can face the court in other ways. It's like you just want to punish and giving her somebody is not available. Because why not give her the case as it is so that she's available? She goes to court charged, let her appear in court for the right charges, not for the wrong charges. I don't support the charges.
Okay. Well, I hear your point. I hear your point, Bakazia. But most Zambians are thinking now to say, I think Vamumbi Piri, she should have learned a lesson from last time around. She should have known where to be, where not to be. I think Vamumbi Piri has been in politics for a very, very, very long time. And she should know that, look, but you want to be the one spearheading those kind of confusion, and in your camp, She might not be the one that did the crime, but she was accompanied by certain individual, very unruly individuals. I mean, we all know who the PF cadres are and what they're about. So if that happened, if one of those cadres that she was with at that time did that crime, she's an accomplice.
So
That's the way it is. She's
now,
an
now what
accomplice.
I'm- if it is
Teti mwaya inendea mkuroba banki naya mkuroba banki nami vakazia ndefa munje nsheko ku awe leke nimpwishe leke ndefa munga kweku ndefa okuya ku downtown tureya twaingira na motoka ine nafika ku downtown kulya imwe tamwishi yofo ndechi kanshi ndefa okuroba banki naingira na roba na banki na isa twaingira na motoka zwa nde tureya fishi uleshita iwe njirawe tureya let's go vakapokola valalanda tavalanda no because nshayishive. Okay, according to the law, imwe bene valancharging the same way I'm going to be charged because you are an accomplice.
avo vatanda pefumbefiyo imwe mbamwazenda panga ndetamba tuli vonse mwatatesi weyalimbalatieni umume ndefo okumuuma ero naye kala ndetamba mamwe akati omuntu amwamwipaya ishindemona mwipaya
Chava fyapusana
because ine umulandu wandu wala different no wenu teti ine neushiviri vese vampera kuninji ine kuti vampera umulandu wako vati waletamba kwaleiva now ine I can be abetting and aiding a crime because I should have been there to stop the crime or I'm covering up for a crime. Therefore, you got to Mulandu. Now, we have been got to Mulandu. The Muslim Mumpere, no, she left now. Even the courts of law, it's very clear about that. If you go to court every other time, now, if any mother, I want to believe in the same that wife, and I was participating in the killing. Number will number. You understand? But you
yeah, but no, that's different. My examples pera. Yapsana na example na chimi pera.
But
example na idea example. You're an accessory to that crime.
But yes, but what offense you charge the guy who is stealing?
Okay, that's why I'm kuroba banking. Bala ni charge na emwe bene.
Okay. Number one, I'm not saying they will charge me. They will charge me, yes. But you who went inside, that was outside, the charges will be different.
Yeah, but you still the difference is my years if exactly. No, for example, just for argument's sake, 15 years. You be given 10 years.
But not on the same case.
Still, you are going to be charged for being an accessory to that crime because.
Yes, but I will be just an accessory, but I will not be the person committing the aggravated robbery. I will be an accessory to that crime, but I will not be the one. But I will pay a heavier punishment. But they will also punish me. That's why I'm telling you to say, the charge that is being given doesn't make sense. And then number two, I must tell you here, we cannot be having abundant law because in terms of people standing up for what is justice, for what is right, it's not everybody. Other people will run away. Other people stick in the thick of things. Bamumbipi sticks in that thick of things. And I can tell you right here, Bamumbipi cannot be deterred by what has happened there. Okay. Then you don't know her. Because she has not done anything wrong.
So mleva sita encourage ukubambala in all this
an injustice whereby you formulate what is not there to give something that this is what is there. Give her the right charge and let her go to court on the right charge. But do not manufacture a charge to silence her. Because now what you are suggesting, according to me, is that she's been given that to be silenced. And that should not be a democracy that we must be able to preach for. She should not be given a case because you want to silence her, to keep her quiet, not to tell you what is wrong. How come there's no investigation about what she alleged? How come? And I'm still waiting for that time when there could be an investigation or a report given.
I think it will come in due time. It will come in due time.
Let's see for that. But right now, Watanda, I do not agree with the charge that was given. That is an extreme charge which is meant to silence her. Yes, she could have been wrong on what she did, but give her the right charge.
So, okay. So just for argument's sake, first of all, we welcome Valedi Sarah. Thank you for joining us today. I'm sure she has a lot to say today. Valedi Sarah, are you with us today? Are you able to come and discuss? Welcome to the show.
Yes, Rachanda. Thank you so much. Though I haven't followed up what the topic so much, but I'll try my best.
Yeah,
everyone. Sorry,
yeah.
you'll be
Happy New
hearing
Year.
some noise. I'm babysitting. Yeah.
Oh,
thank you. I'm babysitting a little bit. Yeah.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. No, what we've been discussing is it's actually what's been happening on the internet, of course, online. Now, you found us. We're discussing the issue of the arrest of Vamumbi Piri, and I was asking Wakazias, like, Vamumbi Piri, she's always found in trouble. Okay, is it because she's trouble herself or what? So we're just trying to figure out there, trying to find out and see, like, look, why is it every time Vamumipiri is there, there's something that's going to happen? It's either somebody will be killed or there's going to be a crime committed. Like, is she a problem? I don't know what you think about that. Valedi Sarah.
First of all, I want to know, like I've said, I haven't been on the internet too much. I would like to know why. What's the reason why she's been arrested?
Well, when they went to assist to the by elections, I think it's in Kawambwa. One of the entourage guys, my PF guys, cadres, they went to UPND camp, and they were saying that they suspected them of having extra voters card or something like that, doing something with the elections or something. So they went there to interject them or and confront them. So during that confrontation, one of UPND member lost his cell phone and money and so on and so forth. And Mumbipiri was leading that group of those guys that went to confront the UPND. So that's where it is. That's where it's coming from. And she's been charged now with aggravated robbery, which is an unbailable offense. And we were discussing Navakazi. I was trying to tell him, like, look, injustice. So Vala charge the same way are going to be charged. Like in Katwa Mkoroba Bank, you know, I don't know, you'll be charged the same way. I'm going to be charged because you are an accessory. So she was there. She might not have been the one that was fighting with those guys, but she was there in the entourage of the PF camp. She was leading that team, because obviously the courts cannot just charge her like that. Obviously, somebody said, look, maybe, and that's why we acted that way. So she's always found in these things. If you remember the other case where somebody died, I believe it was the Namulava Nation, one of the UPND members who was actually shot. She was on the scene of the crime.
Is it not Lawrence Banda?
Okay?
Is it not Lawrence Banda?
Yes, Lawrence Banda, yes. When it was she was there, she was on the scene. She was there in the forefront. So we're trying to figure out like why is she always in this kind of situations?
Vatan,
Mom.
it's
Leka
similar.
anybody to say that Bengire Vashtenani
Yeah,
can later
all
give
right.
an opinion on this one.
Okay, what I can say on this one is that the problem is with her, she feels like she's above the law. She can say anything, she can do anything. I think that is where the problem is. So, since it's in the courts of law, we are going to wait and hear more. So, until she's proven guilty, she might not be, she might not have caused any harm or anything. But
Mm,
wait for the
mm,
courts. And
mm,
so, when somebody is in the high position, always the name comes out.
mm, mm,
So that's what I feel. Like, yeah.
mm.
When you are Chanda, the way you come on this program, if something happens, if the backbenchers are there, your name will come first than the other people. So Mumbipiri, this name is so fashionable. You know that she talks too much. She's got the voice. She's beautiful. You know. So and she was PF something. It's a big name, and when it is found where there is trouble, it is easily picked. That's what
Mm,
I
mm,
can say for now. Thank you.
mm. Yeah, okay. Good analysis. Now, Bakazia, you can tell us what you were thinking. Hello, Bakazia, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm saying she should. I think it's not that she should not be held accountable for the actions, but give her the right charge. Even the one that you are assuming that she was there when someone killed, the court found the contract. After almost 600, 400, almost a year in prison without appearing in court, the court found that nothing is out there. And if this is the way our justice system is going to be working, it's not going to be helpful. You colleagues in the UPND yourselves, you came on the platform that these are the things you needed to change. Swift, proper access to justice. Be arrested if there's a matter and the right charge. These are not a making of ever. It was your government that was talking about this thing. You come and start dreaming charges now that just fix if they want to just hold you in prison for nothing, they will confer on you a charge which they even know is available. Look at what happened to this young boy called Wyman. The boy did a lot of. I never support that kind of behavior, insults. I do not, and there was one more that was very unhappy about it. But they were insulting with Ichigo Oro, a friend. He is out there right now, free. Same kind of video talk. And he said, it's so pathetic that you can't even recite them. But you get one person, why is this guy free? Why? This guy goes in for 6 months. This other one even continues insulting just because he belongs to UPNP.
Aha.
Let's not
No,
think that's
watch that we know could area.
Chanda, can I
let,
also
let,
come in after
let,
Hazia?
let me just finish.
Okay, okay, because now we're now going
Let me
into the
finish
next
this.
topic. Actually, it's about why me. So
I
now,
don't I never want to see that kind of stupidity being tolerated in any form from both sides. But you can't arrest one. You'll be one. And Yamamuleka even continues insulting people. And when you ask why is this guy free, nobody is ready to answer a question. Is this the justice system that you want to see in the country? I submit. Bachani. Basera.
Yes, Vakazia Mlishani. Happy New Year.
Happy you.
Vakazia, let's just be truthful, my brother. Let's just blame the court system. You know, these things happen to many people, you know. This thing where somebody is arrested, is put in jail, maybe over a year, I'm telling you that you wash out. Wash out.
Yeah, wash out.
Wash out. Number one, even if I HH, 127 days by Kelly. So we cannot say that it's because by UPND valechitefi. We just have to blame the system.
Okay.
Then what PFO, and when I got up on jail, man was off my shout. I can give you an example. You know, sometimes you can see me on Facebook. What I'm saying this, it's not like I'm proud of it. I'm hurt. My daughter, she was in Wansha. That was in, I think in September. And she was with her friends, whatever. The friends, the two phones got lost and they put it on her at Tewas and handbag. She was in prison in Luansha, remand prison. After minute 1st December.
Oh my God.
My own daughter, this is my own daughter. After minute 31st December at China acquitted, yeah. No case found. So you can be crying at it because the political thing. This thing happens to people. This has happened to my family. My own brother, remember I mentioned at one time, my own brother died in prison.
Oh no.
Without umlandu, mlemfwa. Contracted disease. Over a year, milandu for nothing. So many people have lost lives in these courts without even having umlandu. But Mumbipiri is not an exceptional. She's just human, and if she caused trouble, she was found where trouble was being caused. She can also be picked, just like any other human being.
And Wasera, nobody, including me, who is saying you shouldn't, that shouldn't be done. But you see, that's not an example. But HH was arrested for what? What now tend to be a traffic offense, isn't it?
Yes, it was a traffic offense.
And what the judge was slapped? Treason, isn't it?
Treason, yes. Because
Now,
Edgar Lungu wanted HH's blood.
No, it's not about Edgar Lungu. It's about government. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not assigning names. I'm putting the blame on the government. And the president is not government. But he has to supervise the government. And these are the things that Imwe. Because don't forget where you're coming from, Imwe. The narrative you are bringing. You are not bringing the narrative of the past. You are bringing the narrative for the future, which was based on changing things. The things that are not going to be right to be changed so that they are right. That was your message. But then, what I see is now being dragged into justification on what is being done now as alluding to the past. So I'm saying, if I'm on Wikipedia's committee, give her the right charge. Don't manufacture a charge so that she's put in prison there and left in the prison. No. Certain Uganda can be getting robbery and 20,000 water. 10,000 water to afford. Even when we are trying to confer charges on some people. That's just too cheap.
I don't think they're stupid for them to do that. I think they know exactly what they're doing, and obviously, sometimes these leaders, our leaders, please, when you find yourselves in these situations, provide the right information and help the police system to pinpoint exactly where the crime was committed and who did it. You were there. This is the second time you are witnessing something bad being done. Okay? And if the court system or the system feels like you are aiding and abetting, okay, because you don't want to reveal to say yes, no, in fact, umulumendo naitile na ene watchile fiaso. You want to be pompous and say no, because never mumbi piri. Nala wafe pompous. I'm not going to say anything. I'm assuming. So that's why they said, okay, fine. If you don't want to work with the system, if you don't want to work with the government or the police, I'm ready to die. You know the language she's been talking. I'm ready to be jailed every day.
Yeah, but you see,
she went on an anthill.
Yeah, but it is not an offense.
She went on an anthill saying ECL firabeko firefu my paper watu wala cabinet wera tuwe okay, and she started campaigning that no you know, we're ready to be jailed. You know, so it means that somebody, she's ready to do anything. You understand? So her leadership, she has a very questionable reputation, questionable leadership system that people are saying, like, look, as a leader, what are you teaching young upcoming female politicians in this country? What are you teaching them?
Bashanda, just now, after the court.
No. I'm just going through the history. Remember when we were ECO, there was one time.
Yeah, I saw that. No, yes. is not eligible. So.
The PF, they're not saying that. The PF are still saying that ECO is standing in 2026. That's what they're saying.
Our grapes.
Yeah, but I have a question for you. Is it wrong for me to sign up at my house and say, oh, ECO, even when the judgment, is it an offense for me to express myself?
It's an offense now because he's not eligible.
No, I can say it, but that doesn't change the law. There's nothing saying that, oh,
Vachanda. In the voice of Sister Kalinda, Vachanda, Kazia. Listen, Vakazia.
Win.
Uyu bana nikane ba mumbipiri even ileo baikele mujele ile it is okay because you know like when Lawrence Banda died, we saw mumbipiri saying she witnessed everything that happened.
Yes.
She witnessed. So if you witnessed everything that happened and somebody, therefore, how can you miss the bullet, the one who shot the let me finish.
In the courts of
no, but Sarah is right.
But nobody can
like any appreciate.
Listen, for example, imwenga mwalanda muntu nafa naifwa. Namfenda mana ifwa feso. Ero mwanda chilina chimuna fyonse fya chichitika pakuti ina maifwe. So what happened? How can you miss what caused the death? How can you miss that?
Do you remember? Do you remember that in the same video?
Everything what that happened, and Bagiasa Pitiloku, he was trying to steal. How can you miss the one who pushed the bullet into that person?
Okay. Let me answer you very well. That is why the court later, because the court established from the same who could start witness no people if I witness a matter on how it is done, not Kusana completely.
Then tell us what you witnessed.
Yes. If I tell you what I witnessed and I didn't witness the one I didn't see the person who shot, but I knew how I'll tell you what I saw. And what I saw is up to you to believe or not, and the court to believe or not. That's what happened. You can't now justify and say, oh, but it doesn't work like that. That's why that's what should kill according to them. As we not been jailed. You see, it's not a question of witness, it's a question of the act committing it yourself. Witnessing a crime is not a crime for you. That crime does not you are also a witness, and now you understand that in our current law, it protects a person. The person can choose not to be a witness. You know that.
I think the moral of the story is this. The moral of the story is
the moral is bad.
No, no. As leaders, that's what I'm saying. Look, Bakazia, as leaders, people need to learn something from us. The young politicians, the young female. I mean, this politics is limited when it comes to female representation. Okay, and the president is saying, like, look, in the next coming future, we need to put more female in parliament. Now, if we have leaders that are displaying this kind of behavior, what motivation is a young politician, female politician, going to get from Amumbi period? Because if you see something wrong, it doesn't matter whether you're a staunch PF or Tonse or Uka or Ukwa or whatever it is. You have to report the crime. You should have been the first person to go to the police and say, look, when we went there to confront them, yes, we were wrong. We did this, but something bad happened, and the individual that did it is this one. You should be a leader. You should not be protecting criminals. Okay? So you should not be the one shielding criminals all the time. This is the second time.
Can I give you a typical example of the shooting of a crime, which has been done now? Huh?
An example of what?
A crime, what you are saying.
Okay. Let's go to the next topic. We'll combine the two. So the next topic is actually show you why me.
Okay, all right.
You wanted to discuss about it. Why me? You were talking about why me.
Okay.
You said, like, look, this young man has been incarcerated, he's been ill-treated, hasn't been treated right. That's the score or the subject matter around the internet.
No. That is not for me.
Okay, what did you say?
Me, I said, to the same extent of stupidity and whatever why he did, there is another person who did the same, and they were after exchanging. This person supposed to be and is free, and why he went to prison for 6 months. Selective justice system is what I'm so much against.
Okay. Oh, selective. Okay. Yeah. I think on that one, Bakazia.
Why is Chivokoro free up to today? Why?
No. I think let's put the two people aside. Okay. Let's look at what the case is right now. The case is about why me. What did why me do? Finchurch did it. Right? Those are the things we need to ask ourselves. What did he do? Okay? He was there insulting the Tonga people, the Tonga speaking people, who are brothers and sisters. Okay? Abatonga, from all sections of life. Now imagine this. This young gentleman, he was always online insulting the Tonga people because he felt like he was a member of Ukwa or Tonze or whatever, or he was being powered by Lungu. So he thought if he does that, he gets more likes and everything. Okay, he might have been doing it for entertainment sake or whatever, the internet. But as a human being, you need to understand, like in Zambia, we've now changed. What we want is Kaunda led a very good system. He laid it for us, the blueprint that we always carry, which is one Zambia, one nation. That's the blueprint that Kaunda laid for us. Now, if we were going to destroy that legacy, destroy that blueprint, just because of one individual who because believes that Lungu is his godfather.
Everyone got a problem.
You see?
The person insulting is not ECL.
No. The person who was insulting was saying that I'm a supporter of Lungu. That's what he was saying.
Who was insulting, what was he saying?
Okay, and you were saying me
But the person insulting the other end, what was he saying?
So anyway, so my point is this. Let me before you make me lose my train of thought. That young gentleman, when he was online, doing all those disparaging remarks and giving those out there, I was thinking to myself, I was like, why would an individual in the right sense of mind, I mean, he may be young, I don't know how old he is, but you should not be used. Okay? You should not be used by all these politicians just for the sake of promoting or propagating propaganda. Don't be used. Think with your mind yourself, and you already have a platform. Why don't you use it like any other young individual that uses those platforms? But he went on and he started insulting the Tonga people.
I don't remember you
Now here's the thing about Bakazia. The problem is this. If you follow the history of Africa, if you go to Rwanda, why did Rwanda have that genocide? Why did that genocide start? How did it start? It started by one individual who went on the radio program to disparage or disrespect one tribe. Okay? In Rwanda, if you know the history, there's the Hutus and the Tutsis. Now, these two tribes at that time were at loggerheads, right? And it only needed one individual to ignite that fire. And that guy went on the radio station to do that. That's what led to the genocide. We're living in the world of technology now. When that individual young man was saying all those things, nipa internet ila yolurumbi, internet of ya. Okay? Now, this individual, he thought he was smart by trying to disparage the Tonga people. And then we've learned. Even when the president went to Rwanda, he saw that horror. Even Chiluba himself, when he went there, he saw that horror. He said, look, we should not allow this in Zambia. We were not going to burn down this country because of one individual. Okay?
Me, I have a problem with the way you want to see things. The point that I've asked you one question. Why is the other Ichiboko free? You answered me. Why? Why that other person who they were insulting each other with me? Why me? Why is that guy free?
Okay. That's a simple question. Because that's not what we're looking at. They were insulting
me asking you.
Can I say something too?
Go ahead, Lady sir.
Okay, why me nationally? Why me? This boy, the boy or Nimani, he deserves to be, I know that here in America, but we are in Africa. Africa, we condone somebody insulting like that. That boy is useless. That boy, you cannot insult people like that. If you are tukana, or something. Who does that? Me, I couldn't even continue watching his insults. That's how often it's who is this one now? I don't know. I don't know how he was cultured. I think let me finish, please. I think omunganda omwakuliri oyo waimi balatukana because there is no way umwana omunono mwai kyekulafunye ensere fira pakanwa
ngekiwokolo basere kiwokolo
please
lekeni basera bapwisi
nangu fya ensala naye kunyensha shani you cannot insult people like that you can't uyu waimi needs to be disciplined. We know he should stop. His mouth should be zipped. The tongue should be stitched properly. With a penny, tuna matanda. Uiwaimi. I'm not in remand prison. You know, kapola mwela banango ku remand you ko yumwa ichoyu. Alefa iko kumishina tuna matanta. Umbina mwanga takumaboko era umbia mshina tuna matanta. Na milo patience practitioner is something else. What type of social media eyo waikala wala tukabanta bakalamba? Because those insults we were all insulted. So this why me I know that under human rights tafiro kumukuka kumlandu wansere but ngabali mulo polati yo ipakoti one day bali sana stitch ila ine tangi yakwe aleko kuchitefia kupuba. You can do something better, you know, to raise abantu bakukutemwa pa social media, to raise the million people to watch you. Look at people who are honorable. May I so rest in peace, Mono. Look what she was doing. Why can't you do something tangible, something that people can, you know, say, oh, why me is doing something? Nakalishina politika yo lulumbi, no chukula yo lulumbi munsele. Useless boy.
But if to avoid to have a conversation around, and you are skating around it.
What are we speaking about?
I told you to say,
okay.
This is a guy who supports UPND, and he insults the. And then there is another person who UPND producer chairperson of Northwestern producer that later you go to circumstances. Why are those people hate? That's hate crime. Not a hate crime, serious. Why are they free? Because they support UPND? Why is it that every time we go to question, no one is answering?
Since you want an answer, let me answer you.
No, that's not. I want your comment because so that it's me. You have been able to discuss this person. We are discussing why me in the context of what has happened. So it's the person who why he was insulting with. Okay. And there's also another person who was insulting another, but
okay. So no, just to answer you or to satisfy your question, I'll tell you one thing. Those two people are different. Okay. One, why me is insulting a tribe. Okay. And then one individual comes up and start defending and he starts to insult him personally. That's different.
What?
Okay. So that's different. Now, but hear me out. What we're looking at is this. That's why I gave that example of the Rwanda genocide. I gave you that example. Now, if somebody is insulting a tribe or when I am at neighborhood, Pachpanda, you see what I'm saying? That's different. Now, sorry for using that word. Okay? Those are the kind of words that he was using.
But
he was insulting a tribe. Okay? You're missing the point, Wakazia. He was insulting a tribe. Okay? He wasn't insulting an individual, but a tribe. And those are the ones, those are laws by
Maybe I've not seen that video where he mentioned specifically mentioned the Tongas. I have not seen that. What I have seen is the narrative of people saying bad things. Mane tuka. Tuka over the.
He says it clearly in his videos.
Now, okay, let's say that why
okay. I've just given you an example. I've told you. Let me tell you
one thing which we must not do on this forum, and which I think as Zambians we must not do. And why is bad for our country. It's so bad. That is not what we want. Let me finish this point.
Go ahead.
If we are going to behave this way, on matters that are very clear, we start taking sides because we must not support that kind of thing. But what we must not refuse is an injustice where why no longer 6 months, the other guy is walking through the street. The other person is walking through the street. All those that are UPND aligned, they can insult in the way they want, and nothing, they don't face the law. It's a problem. I don't support why we did, and I don't support what Ichimoko has been doing. I do not. And second, I do not also support what that UPND chairperson said about our former president. I don't. We can't butt our heads in sand, colleagues, and say, no, we are to come alive. No. That kind of crap, we must frown upon it. And remember the government, you guys and UPND, must be the first one to stop up and say, if you will not be part of this kind of stupidity. And you are on your own. But you can't shield him. The chap is shielded for misbehaving.
So, Bakazia, let me, if I hear you correctly, you're saying what Waimi did is equivalent to what Chibokolo did. That's what you're saying.
They're equivalent.
It's equivalent. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. So now this is where I come in. I tell you this. Why me was insulting a tribe while Chibokolo was insulting why me. They were insulting each other.
Maybe
okay. So now, if here, no. Let's put the way things are.
No, but
a Tonga speaking tribe, which is which has been very instrumental, very instrumental in this country, its economy. In fact, in developing or building Zambia as a nation. The Tonga people were the first people that actually contributed money for Kaunda to go and sit with those, so-called colonial masters. No. We're just trying to give a history here because
there is no tribe in Zambia that didn't contribute to the liberation of this country.
No, but they're notable people, not everybody. We can't say out of all the 76 tribes, there are notable tribes that actually did or contributed directly, sold their own animals to make sure that Zambia is liberated. Now, that's aside the point. No. That's aside the point. The point is this. My point is, if you target a tribe, okay, you target a tribe, then you're fighting a big war. If me and when I was giving an example, that's different. Okay? You cannot even kuno tula munana basungu balalaka. Nama neighbors. Valelaka. Okay. But anyway, before we go anywhere, I think we got the doc in place. The doc is has joined us. I don't know if my doc you've been following the show. We welcome.
Thank you. I'm just coming in. I'm just waking up actually.
Oh,
yeah. I slept late yesterday. There's something happening in Zambia. We lost a member of the family, so we are doing some.
oh, sorry. Condolences.
I lost a nephew, so
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Condolences.
Otherwise, we are fine.
Condolences, Bashmwan.
Uh,
Mm.
so ati bachipokolo ati bawayimina aba bafumya.
Wait, to meet bail conditions. Yes, and here's the thing about Doc. This is the point I was going to go at. The guy was given bail in August last year, but he didn't meet the conditions, and all they wanted was 10,000 kwacha. He couldn't find anybody to talk for him or be at his corner. All these PF sympathizers were not there for him. And I can tell you after this, when he comes out of jail, he's got a lot to say because they abandoned him. And then they started speculating and started saying, why me paya? Hey, why me have a quisa? Hey, why me? We want to work what is. It was only $10,000, 10,000 kwacha. Can you please provide this na surety? Okay? So don't blame the court system. System of where the condition at no 10,000.
Bachanda. You see, Mule missing a very big point here. And you have gone to start trivializing this. It is injustice. We must not allow people to insult that name, to insult elders like that. If just someone supporting you, then it is right. But if is wrong. Me, I don't want to have a support of YB when it's behaving like that. I don't want. I would never tolerate that kind of nonsense. And I'm expecting that every PNG meaning based on
your volume it goes and comes back. What's going on? And also there is this man called Charila Make. How to join? He wants to join. Maybe Chanda, you can have a look at that.
Oh yeah, I see that. I'm just telling about Kalinda to let him join in.
Basera, thank you.
Yes, my dear. Yes, sweetheart.
So I'm telling you, in personally, and I do not expect that there should be, because why me is insulting very well. I don't UPND and the leadership and Tonga and whatever is insulting. Therefore, number. He must be in my corner. I don't want that. And I am expecting that UPND be in government should never tolerate Chivokoro to insult people like that. And then try to justify his kind of stupidity. No, it's so bad to just it's so irritating.
So what point are we missing, Bachanda? What point are we missing?
The point we are missing is that we should not have selected just the way we treat these two. We should not have. Then you'd be sending the right message to anyone who wants to disparage people, who wants to insult people, anyone who wants to insult a tribe, anyone who wants to insult the leaders. They should have been together. They should have been two, they've been set an example. But the example that has come now, the example that has come is the selective justice system. The unfairness.
This guy is the sound of this.
From where?
Yes.
Okay. Wakazia Wachanda, I think you're not going to you're not going to entertain the point that there's a difference here.
No, there's difference.
Well, let's bring in Doc, if you can chime in Now we know. Let my doctor come in and give us his point of view on this one.
First of all, we should realize that why me started the whole this thing. He has been he just want it looks like he was looking for trouble from the beginning. He started insulting people, talking garbage all the time and all that, and this the last bit where he found his match, okay, who started insulting him as well and doing that. But why me is just a bad guy. He doesn't want peace, as they say. He doesn't want peace. He started this thing on his own. He wasn't agitated by anybody, but he started the whole insulting of people on his own. All right. But in the end, he found his match, who also started insulting that exchange, which is going viral now and all that type of thing. But this whole thing was started by why me? And to me, he deserves what he's receiving now, because he's been actually he was let out at one time, isn't it? He started it, briefly put in jail, whatever, in police custody, then they let him out again. He did the same thing. So it's why me is just a bad guy. We shouldn't even talk about the other guy who just tried to insult him as well and all that. But why me is just a bad guy. He's the one who started the whole thing, insulting Tonga tribe and all HH and all this type of people. So he should be caged. Yeah.
Fantastic. So I think that boils down to what I've been trying to say. There's a difference. Like I said, look, vakazia, mone niba mdala wandi. Okay? You and I can argue, okay? We can argue, we can have differences, right? But if you start making it a tribal argument, about tribes, then it's a different conversation altogether. That's what Waimi was saying and what Wachiwokolo was saying is different. He was insulting the other guy. Okay, they were insulting each other. Waimi was insulting a tribe. Okay, he was insulting a whole tribe of Tonga. I think we should be very, very upset about that, because why me? What does he know? What does he know for him to insult a whole tribe? Who gives him the powers? Okay? What kahunas does he have for him to insult a whole tribe? Okay? So those are the arguments that we're trying to bring on the table. So you need to acknowledge the fact that a young man, as young as he is, he cannot insult a tribe. What powers does he have? Who's giving him that? Who's backing those power batteries in his backpack?
Sorry to interrupt. In Endeavor, I'm telling you, I feel very disappointed with you guys. Maybe I feel disappointed.
Oh, because we're talking the truth?
No, you are shooting stupidity.
How are we shooting stupidity when I'm saying?
Let me tell you how we are doing it.
What stupidity are we shooting?
The level of insult,
okay. What tribe did he insult? What tribe did he insult?
He was insulting people.
No. What tribe? What tribe? No. I'm just trying to clarify one thing. For the sake of the viewers. What tribe did the Bachibokolo insult?
For the sake of the viewers, we look stupid in the eyes of the viewers. If we as citizens of Kalamba, we are failing to distinguish that this kind of level of stupidity between Waini and Chibokolo must not make part of our conversation in Zambia. We are disappointing the viewers if we are not going to pick out to say When aletuka ine, nangwaletuka imwe, nangwaletuka 88, nangwaletuka Edgar, we must not allow that.
Okay.
We must not. Whether
Okay.
it's creating or not, we must not allow it. These are young boys, not 20-year-olds, 18-year-olds. They would insult the former head of state. They would insult the entire political party, which is made of everybody. It is the same way. A person who insults a Tonga tribe is not different from someone who insults UPND government or UPND party as a party. But we cannot be allowing such kind of conversations.
Anyway,
let me be very clear with you, colleagues. I take wrong exceptions to that. If you are going to nationalize this and if you are next stage and if you have Cuba, I will not be part of that conversation.
All right. Anyway, okay. Let's move forward. I think let's move forward. Let's agree to disagree. They were both wrong, but one person was more wrong than the other. Which because he was targeting a tribe, and we do not want to have a tribal in the country of Zambia. Everybody knows that Rwanda, was the genocide in Rwanda was spiked by one individual. Okay, so when it was spiked by that individual, it led to a bloody war between the Hutus and Tutsis in Rwanda. So we do not want that in Zambia to ever. But anyway, moving ahead, like I need to article what's with the developmental projects that's been happening. Wakazia, I think what again I'm a gadget. Yeah. So anyway, I think let's moving ahead. I think let's talk about Northwestern Province. I was reading in the news and I saw that in the Northwestern Province alone, the 3 big major mines have employed over 30,000 workers. Can you imagine that? 30,000 people in Northwestern Province. So we're looking at Lumwana, Kansanshi, okay, and all these big major mines. The 3 big major mines in Northwestern Province have employed close to 30,000 people, which is a big plus. I think we need to be looking at why are we seeing all these big trucks, abnormal loads, going into northern and the Northwestern Province. It's because they know that they're sitting on minerals that's going to make them profits. And if somebody was saying like, look, why the mining sector is not, the mining sector is actually booming. The mining sector, believe it or not, it's actually booming. Even the investors themselves, they're willing to put up huge amount of investments. Okay, that's why we're seeing all these big trucks going into the mining sector. 30,000 so far as we're speaking. Okay, and it's only been like a year when all these mines have been activated. Now you can imagine in the next coming 5-10 years, how many people will be employed. Okay, and they're not just employing people, they're training people, training local Zambians into specialized skills, how to handle certain materials, certain machinery, which is a big plus, I think, for Mother Zambia, because we've been waiting on something. Okay, aside of all these problems that are happening in terms of climate change and everything, but at least the mining sector has now been revamped to the level whereby there's something we can point at, other than just talking in courts, like the president was saying. Like, let's not just talk in courts. Let's sit and talk on the table and resolve issues. And once we resolve issues, these are the results. 30,000 people employed. Okay. Now, where would have been all those 30,000 individuals if we did not talk outside court? So I don't know if everybody is a little bit familiar with Northwestern Province, the investments going on there. I think let's start with But Doc, you've been quiet. Let's listen from you and see if you got an input on that one. And then Wakazia, because he likes to talk about the mines. And Wasir.
Oh, I can go first.
Yeah.
Yes, this what we are seeing in that province is a clear indication of the efforts that the current government has put in trying to revive our economy. And definitely Zambia is going to flourish, and more good things are coming to our country because of, again, good leadership. It's work after work instead of party after party. They were the slogan for the PFs. So it's these are the good indications, and more things are coming. We've seen, we're looking at the investors in southern province, the Kwembe Valley, central province. A lot is happening as well in Chongwe area and all that. So a lot is happening in our country, and I think we should give credit where it's due. The current government has a vision for our country, and unlike the previous government that was not very, they had a Chimwino plan, whatever. I think our government has a vision for the country, and things are gonna get better and better. It's unfortunate that in the past 1 or 2 years we had this drought and electricity stuff. But otherwise, without the drought that we experienced, I think things were even going to be better than they are now.
Fantastic. Wakazia tshani. Pesho bulela na pokuma mai.
Guma mine, I have not seen the report. I'm relying on what you have said. I know Northwestern Province very well. I know Kansanshi, I know Lumwana, I know all those. I've inspected those mines. I've been there. I've inspected those mines. I've checked their employment statistics. I am just doubting if they could get the 30,000, but I know that definitely there are some numbers that have been pushed in there. But to get to say Kalumbila alone can employ 10,000 just within the last 1 year?
Yes.
I don't think so.
No, those are statistics.
Those statistics,
yeah, but I think you haven't keeping up to date with all these what's been happening in Northwestern Province.
That's why I'm saying I'm relying on the statistics you are giving me.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the report. Maybe you can share the report with me.
No problem. The PS himself was on record on TV pronouncing these statistics.
Yeah, maybe
I'll send you the link. But one mine on a minimum can employ 10,000 people.
Yeah, can I finish my submission?
Go ahead.
Yes. So it's a good thing, by the way, to have growth in the mining industry, number one. Number two, the mines, what I've seen from the last time, maybe things have changed. They were reducing from being labor intensive to using more technological advancement, especially when you look at Kalumbila. Because Kalumbila at the time was bringing heavy equipment. For instance, that time they were bringing in a bucket, which was the largest in the world. And it was the Ugrit, which was they were bringing, was about 120 tons of copper ore. So that meaning, and then highly mechanized. So I know for the fact that that could be challenging. In fact, those are some of the things that we are talking about to say, if you allow the heavy technological advancement to take over the mining, you will not have people that the numbers will reduce significantly. And I was using an example of the way the US is. The US has limited the size of what the dump truck would be. Maybe I shouldn't say the dump truck. Maybe the ones that those heavy load carriers, the tonnage, to bring it to a certain tonnage so that they can have more people actually working within the same localities. But if there is 10,000 that are 30,000 that have gone in the mine right now, full-time jobs created, that is something. 30,000 is not a small number, because the last time I checked, they were around 7,000.
Well,
So if
I think if you're saying you're talking about 7,000, I mean, why would 30,000 between the three big mines
no,
surprise you?
37,000 being what was
Eh,
the stock strength at the time. Maybe
At
an
the time.
additional 3,000, yes. So what I'm thinking is that maybe Karumbira could add 3,000, 3,000. Maybe
No. Oh, no.
if I can
Go ahead.
So what I'm saying is that what I suspect, and I hope I can confirm that, is that the 30,000 might be the strength of the entire workforce within the three mines. Not
Yes.
that these are the new people that have been added to the jobs. I strongly don't think that that is possible, because then you're talking about over 50,000 to 70,000 people in the mines. If we have added the 30,000, what I'm thinking is that Kalumbira could add a 2,000 number, maybe Kansanshi adds another 1,500, another 2,000 somewhere there. But maybe the total strength right now is what may be 80,000. When you look at what from the previous jobs that they've had. So that is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's a total number of what has been added plus what was already there. But if it's not, that is a new number that you've given, well and good. Sounds good.
Okay. Just to bring you up to speed, these are new numbers. Okay. They're not the old numbers. These are new numbers. As we know, or maybe some people may not know, the mining sector was at a standstill for a very long time. Okay. So now that the environment is ripe and the policies have changed, and all these mining policies have changed to benefit both Zambians and the investors. That's why we're seeing all these big instruments coming into the country. So at a minimum, each mine, all these these are the Zambia right now was sitting on 5 major mines, and 3 are from Northwestern Province. So Northwestern Province alone, at this point, they're employing close to 30,000 people, okay, combined. And now you can imagine this is a combination of the big mines, Kalumbira, Kansanshi, and Rumwana, okay. Now, if you have big investors like Barrick Gold, which is a well-renowned and known investor in the mining sector in the world, they're not going to employ small numbers. You're talking about minimum 10,000 people, okay, just to make that mining operation. So we're looking at 30,000, and on top of that, we can cap it to 30,000. But on top of that, within the 3 big major mines, we have smaller mines coming up. Smaller mines, okay. So here they employ 1,000, here they employ 1,000, here they employ that, and so on and so forth. So it's not an impossible task, but it was impossible back then, but not now, because we have provided that slab in that environment for individuals and investors to come in and bring in the investment and their profits, and we share the cake. Basera, since you're from Northwestern Province, I think you can tell us.
But that's tribalism. That's tribalism. But since you're from Northwestern, yeah, Bachanda. For me, I have no words. My people, God bless them. It's good that they are having those jobs, and we thank God for that. This is wonderful. I feel like crying because we've been left behind for a long time, just like the late president. May so rest in peace, Mr. Michael Chilufya Sata. he used to, when he used to campaign before he became president, he used to say, "Mweba ku Northwestern mwali shaila sana kwa tifina matako ya shaila kunuma." That's what he used to say. But now we are in front. We are the front. We are the ones that are now shining. We are making Zambia big, and Zambia is going to be like, like a half paradise because of Northwestern, because of Lumwana. So Basata, may he so rest in peace. Wow. These people, I used to tell them at Malishaila Muatemo Vota Tamashu Vota Votela Fiaba Shan Shan Malishaila Quatifua Matakoyasha Kuruma. Now we are in front. We are the front now. We are the front, and we are hard, and we are coming up, and our people are benefiting. We have the gold, we have everything in Northwest, and we thank God for that. Thank you so much.
And just to top on what you just said, a report I was reading on the aerial, mapping of the country. Remember, I've always been talking about mapping the country in terms of minerals and stuff like that. The latest report, it's saying Northwestern Province they just finished Northwestern Province, and they're saying it's ripe, meaning that there are other minerals that we didn't know are there. Okay, so next thing we'll be talking about is oil. So it shouldn't be a surprise for people to know that in the next coming years, Northwestern Province will be talking about oil drilling. Okay, and we'll also be talking about diamonds. Okay, so looking at the proximity between Angola and our country, we all know that Angola has oil, they have diamonds, and why not Zambia? Okay, so it only takes those kind of things, but those statistics are very private and very confidential, and they're going to be reviewed at a very, very the appropriate time. But I can tell you one thing: this is just a start. Northwestern Province will be one of the largest economic earners of Zambia, and they'll be leading the Zambia's GDP in terms of mining sector, in terms of everything in the next coming 10 years. So let's not disrupt our current system and stuff like that. But just going on that, we've just touched on it. Can we go into the curricula vitae? CV, yeah, Zambia, in terms of education system. Vasera, I think maybe you have a lot to talk about. Like, we've had a curriculum system that's been there for the last 60 years, and people are saying, like, look, it hasn't been working for us, it hasn't been modernized, and there's been a revision. I know we have a lot of teachers, a lot of professors, and stuff like that. Can you just tell me how you feel about that? Like, is it a good move to revise it, or should you leave it where it is?
I don't know exactly what they mean by revising, what the change is, or it's just the name for Mushani, for Mutu, or what. That's what I've seen in Zambia. Most of the time, they don't do the revision of the curriculum, like, exactly, and they do it. They will talk. We like talking too much. We like, writing, but do we do it? Because, they say education is power, but education applied is more powerful. If you start like changing the curriculum, you change, but you don't do it, what are you doing? Nothing. They say that, okay, like you have said, that we've had this education. We have people, engineers, we have people that have come out of this education who are doing fine. What I can say is that in Zambia, we lack skills. I'm a teacher I used to teach home economics and literature, but mainly my main subject was home economics. You find that in many schools, like the government schools, they will just put maybe a few classes like option. It never used to be like across the board, everybody is going to do that subject. They'll just put a few classes at one stream. I hope you understand what I'm talking about. Like stream of grade 8s, they'll just put maybe 2 classes doing home economics. And the other classes, they're doing other things like, right, these other languages like maybe RE or something like that. But in other countries like Zambia itself, it sent people not sending, but people resigned from Zambia and went to Botswana. There was that influx of teachers moving from the industrial teaching teachers and also the home economics teachers. They moved. There was that move. They moved to Botswana, and they are the ones that taught Botswana how to even do the curriculum and how to write these lesson plans and everything. And you find that the Botswana government was putting everybody, if it's a stream of grade 8, they would do. It's not optional to do home economics. It's not optional to do industrial arts. You see? And when they did that, you find that at some point, the Botswana people, their teachers got that information from the Zambian teachers, and they stopped even employing our Zambian teachers. So in short, what I'm trying to say is that the curriculum of Zambia, it should be a skilled-based curriculum, not just writing notes, geography. What am I going to do with Mississippi River? Nothing. What has that got to do with me? If anything, even here in America, I'm sure even you are experiencing that you know more geography than the Americans themselves, even the Canadians. You know more. I know more of the rivers here in America and the States. Some of the Americans, when I ask them here in America, they don't even know what you're talking about. Because this girl, she's doing arts, she's dancing, she's doing something else, and they're earning a living. So even in Zambia, let's concentrate on skills. Let's put skills in place so that our people know farming, agriculture. You find that agriculture is not, it's optional also. But English is compulsory, geography is compulsory, everybody's doing it. History. Bismarck, Bismarck. Why do you want to force me? My son was at Insansa school there. History. My son refused. I'm not going to do history. I can't do it. I can't memorize
Vasco da Gama.
Yeah, Vasco da Gama nalapangana ngwenshi. So what do I do with Vasco da Gama? So the system of Zambia is to pass an exam. For what? Is to pass an exam. So ngana pass exam yakwa Vasco da Gama launch tena question. You understand what I'm saying? So that somebody can go to university. You go to university, then what? Okay. So well, like I was given an example of my son. You drilled me a bit, Bachan. He refused to do history. It was someone go to Akanisha 6 points. Even mommy, the few things that I'm going to study, accounts and other things, mathematics and everything. I'll embellish 7 subjects, and he had 6. You answer 7 and he has those points. Okay, he's an engineer, civil engineer. I had to make a point of taking him to do something which is skillful, and he's got a good job here. But this is what I'm talking about. So they could change. If you change, you don't do anything. Another thing which has happened is that they've brought in free education, but is the system really giving these children quality education? How can a teacher of 100 children, 80 children or 70 children, give that education to the children for them to understand? I'm a teacher. I taught in government school. I also taught in a basic school. I also taught in a private school at Incana Trust. At Incana Trust, 25 children, and these children, I would teach them even on one-on-one when I've given a lot of work, like to the other those who have gotten the concept of what I've taught. I know these have picked it up. Those who are slow, I'll go to their desk, to their table, and start one-on-one with a few minutes. You understand what I'm saying? Now, if you have 70 children, because it's free education, how are they going to get quality education? So in short, the government should also build many schools, build more classrooms, and employ more teachers so that we have the ratio, at least 35-40, is kind of a little bit okay. And like 70 children, you know. So this is what I can say about this thing which has come. It's a good thing, but I hope it comes out well. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Well, but Doc, if you can come in, I don't know, you got something to say about this?
Yes, as my sisters just said here, it's the introduction of the whole curriculum. To me, it's a very good concept, but the implementation, I think, is a little bit costly and it will require a lot of money. Of course, if I were I had the powers to change this curriculum, I would do it in sort of phases, so to speak. The fact that they have gotten rid of a lot of these subjects that were wasting our children's time, they have gotten rid of some religious education subjects, which some religious houses have said Zambia is a Christian nation. We should continue teaching these subjects to our children and all that. But yeah, they've gotten rid of a lot of these subjects, history of European history and all those about those type of things, North American geography, all those have been taken, out of the curriculum. It looks very good on paper, very, very nice, but the implementation might be a little bit challenging in terms of, first of all, you need the teachers that are going to teach these skills-based subjects. I know that the government is currently training some teachers home and abroad. So it's the implementation, which is going to be a little bit challenging, I guess. So otherwise, on paper, if you look at it, it looks very, very wonderful. It looks very nice. It's sort of streaming type of education like they have in Canada and these developed countries where kids will be streamed into the trades. There'll be certain trades, and if they want to do, for example, they want to go into the health sciences when they finish their school, they'll be concentrating on biology, chemistry, and all that. Other than teaching a student who's going to go into health sciences, we start teaching them the geography of North America and stuff like that. So it is well sort of. I mean, they thought about it clearly, but the implementation might be a little bit challenging. We need a lot of money to do this. They have rolled it out the whole country. It's not an easy thing to do, but let's hope the challenges will not break the whole system. I hope we're going to fall down and then come up again and try again and that type of thing. But when you look at the paperwork, which I have myself, it's it looks very good, and I think it's a kudos to the Ministry of Education.
So since you have the paperwork there with you, I'm going to ask you a question, because grade 7 has been scrapped off, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it'll be from
it's not. It hasn't been scrapped off. It has been taken up to now. They're going to have form 6. So,
okay.
So basically, they have removed it from primary school and taken it up. That year has been taken up so that the kids can have form 6.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not.
So
that
explain on that one. So form 6. What is form 6 going to be? Or how does it look like?
So form 5 and 6 are going to be basically very sort of. That's when they're going to be so specialized for the kids. That's when they do a lot of skills, trainings, and all that. So the last 2 years of the education will be very, very streamed. They are not going to be doing unnecessary costs. For example, a student that's going to go into the business stream, they'll be doing accounts and all these type of things. And those that are going to go into the medical field, they'll be doing biology and chemistry and all that. So the last 2 years are really, really specialized. And the courses are very few. I think, if I remember, they'll just be doing about four or so courses in form 5 and form 6. So it will be very, very intense, just very, very specialized type of training. In my view, that's very, very good, because I remember students currently, I mean, the past few years, some of the classes, some students were taking as much as 13 subjects in Form 5 and
Oh
Form
yeah.
in
Oh yeah.
Form 4. Yeah, in grade 12, they were taking 13
Oh yeah.
subjects.
Oh yeah.
So it was unnecessary for kids to be taking 13 subjects in grade 12 and grade 11, when we can stream them into certain specific subjects. Now, there are some people, the subject of streaming kids has its own advantage and disadvantages. For example, some people say it's too early to stream a kid when they're in grade 11 to say, you are going to be a lawyer, you're going into the law stream, or you're going in the medical stream, you're going into
I
engineering.
disagree with that, Mdal.
So,
Personally.
yeah, so some people don't like that, to say, my child is in grade 11 and I'm already streaming him to go into this field. Let them do everything, and when they graduate in Form 6, then they can decide whether they want to be lawyers or doctors or engineers. But to me, the advantages of streaming kids in their school is outweighs the disadvantages, because the kids concentrate on those subjects, they become so good, and when they leave high school or secondary school, then they can go in colleges or university in the specific subjects of their choice. And they at that time they're quite. For example, the ones that will go into skills thing, for example, metalwork or woodwork or plumbing and all that. When they graduate from their secondary school, they go to Saka trades. It will just be like a continuation of what they already started in school, which is very, very good. Those that will be in the medical field stream, they would have already done their A-level biologies and all that. They know what genetics is, they know what DNA thing is, so they will just continue in University of Zambia as doctors, and it will be easier for them. So to me, it's a very good thing, but the cost, I think we need to look at the cost and training of the teachers. It's going to be a little bit challenging, I guess. So right now, the changes are not very different. The actual trades will start later on, the next 4 or 5 years. That's when those specialized courses are going to really kick in. For now, what they've done, they've just changed the names of class Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, but the curriculum is sort of doesn't really need a lot of changes in terms of teachers. We will need those teachers in the next 3 to 4 or 5 years from now, when the kids are now in Form 4, 5, and Form 6. That's when it will really be critical at that time to have these specialized teachers. Yeah.
Wow, wonderful. Wonderful. Bakazia, what's your take on this one?
The curriculum, I think the change of the curriculum, I think I will still go with what Daniel said. It's a good thing, but for me, looking at where Zambia is, we do not have the finances to roll it in the way it has been done. That is where I have a problem. It's not that we can't change the curriculum. It definitely has to be applied to the things that would add value to our systems. You know, Professor Mapopa Mtonga, if you remember him, he was one of those that taught me cognition and culture, where he indicated to say, if we are to measuring intelligence in the African context and the European context, we may be talking about intelligence in two different aspects. Because if you look at a child who is born in Bangweul, when he's 3 years, he's able 4 years, just when 4 years, about 4 5 years, he can paddle on the lake in a drought canoe alone, and will go fishing and come back and will provide for the family. Very good at knowing where the fish is, dive in the water and stuff like that. Now, if you take another child from here, you take him there in a drought canoe, there's nothing he's going to do. He will cry, he will not even step a foot in water. But if you give him a computer or something, you see, wow. So he was talking about contextualizing the things that work for us within our society and making use of that and being practical, building on those issues and stuff like that. So I think changing the curriculum is good, but I do not think the rate at which it has gone is the right one. And you know, I still maintain my old philosophy that I told you to say, for me to appreciate an education system, it is when you see government senior leaders their children being part of that education system, then you should know it's taking us anywhere. When you see half of government have taken off their children and sent them here in Canada, the US, Australia, London, that is where their children are. Just when they are grade 8 out. And by the way, they're not in these schools. Where are they? They're in Chingelo, Trident, International School, Osaka, Banani, and all those that are teaching a different curriculum away from the curriculum that we're teaching, the curriculum that we're introducing right now. And all these children just go up to grade 11, 12 out. So they never actually experience what we're doing in Zambia. And I've been thinking about, I want to hear some leadership around someone who says, yes, I will put my children in the government schools because that is where the people that I lead, their children are. The issue of taking out children at the taxpayers' money is not right. It is just not right. I don't support it. So the curriculum change is okay. The implementation will have serious challenges. Just I think today, NAKES, who is the NAKES, which is a group of an association which talks about quality of education, was talking about government failure to give the grants. Schools are opening tomorrow. The grants have not been given. And they were raising challenges to say, look at this, we've been doing it very well from 2022. Now you come to 2025, you stop giving them grants, the schools are opening tomorrow. How do you expect them to start implementing the curriculum tomorrow as kids report for school? How is it going to be? So at times we have good concepts, we rush them, and we have unintended consequences. So this is one part that I think should have gone slow, phase it, start with a few schools, pilot it, and then you kind of move. The problem in Zambia, we adopt everything that a financier would come and throw at us. If we can stop some of those from happening so that we have a clear understanding of the direction which we want to do, it will be good.
You know what? I think you brought out valid points, and I think myself personally, being who has gone through the education system from grade 1 up to grade 12 in the Zambian system, I can tell you for a fact, the system that we were customized, or what we were brought on, was at that time it was working. Okay, but now, because of the changing environments in the changing world, we need to start looking at Zambia in a different perspective when it comes to everybody else that's coming behind us. So ngabafunyapo grade 6 or grade 7, whatever it is, if they're saying that they're going to put a form 6, okay, all right, so if they're saying today, well, we're going to start teaching, so from grade 1, or maybe let me just say from secondary school, okay, watampa grade 8 or whatever it is, you be given an instruction or whether a manual to say these are the things you can do until grade 6, till your final exams. So people will be able to know what their best interests are. So chimochi in a college, they will give you first year, you have to learn business administration. So business administration is combined of all the facets of business, starting from accounting, human resources, management, and everything. Now, if they are able, option, and then you choose in the first year of after graduating, grade 7, 6, or whatever, or 8, or whatever, you go into secondary school, you should be able to know what your strengths are. If I'm good at
I have a little table here, the streams that will be offered starting from Form 4. Okay. They will be streaming kids now, starting from Form 4. They will be starting to stream them into. Some students will start doing natural sciences, STEM, which is a science stream. Some students will be streamed in what will be called technology stream. Some students will be streamed in agriculture stream. Some students will be streamed in home economics and hospitality. Another stream will be social sciences stream, business and finance stream, performing art and creative arts, and then physical education and sports stream. So these are the streams that parents probably will have to choose as to which stream their kids are going to do their Form 4, Form 5, and Form 6. So those that will be in business stream will be concentrating on business courses. Those in technology will be. So this is what is going to happen the last 3 years of their school: Form 4, Form 5, and Form 6.
I think that's good. You brought up that point, and you brought that information. Now, I think parents shouldn't be the ones to decide, and let the student decide for themselves.
When they see, with the guidance of the parents, of course, when they see the strength of the child, they'll say, "You're good in this. You're good in this. I think you can be better in a business stream, or you can be good in technology stream, or social science."
That's good, but that hasn't been the case for the last curriculum years that Zambia has had. There hasn't been that specialized skill to say, like, look, I'm good at this. Because remember, me, I can tell you one thing. I had friends, they were not very good in terms of speaking English or anything like that, but they were very good with their hands.
Yeah.
These are the guys that they would build something a little small. Like, I started learning how to build a small little, a radio. That time in Shkwali, there was PLC. What was it called? Whenever we come, telephones in the neighborhoods. What was it called? Like if you have a phone, people used to have phones in their homes and stuff like that. And then there used to be a company just called, I forget the name. I think PLC. What was it called? So anyway,
PTC. Is it PTC?
PTC. That's what it was called. Yeah. So we used to go to those engineers. And then when they come in the house, because sometimes they used to upgrade the phones in the home. When you have their phone in the home, they'll come and say, "I know this phone is old. Can we upgrade it?" Quality area, and then they switched it to digital area. Didn't get my button. So they would come in the homes and then they would change and stuff like that. So my friend, one of my friends, because he was tech on everything, he'll be like, "Can we go and approach them, Shanshan, and tell us if they can give us those old phones?" So we went to those guys, the engineers, and they say, "Like, we need the old phones." And then they started asking us, "What do you need it for?" "Yeah, we want to make a radio." "You want to make a radio?" And yes. "How are you gonna do it?" So my friend explained to this guy, his engineer, say, "I'm going to remove that earpiece." There was one earpiece, and when I remove that, capacitor, I explained to him, was like, wow. And this guy is not an engineer, just a young kid like me, but he wasn't smart in terms of school, So when it comes to school, I used to write his homework and stuff like that, but he was just creative in terms of if you are kuchita. You see? So that's what I'm saying. Like, look, if we specialize individuals like that, you put an emphasis on people like that, and then you say, "Oh, this guy, I think he's got something there," because not everybody can, be intelligent in terms of writing English and passing all these English exams. Because English is number one. They're saying, "Oh, okay, you'll find umuntu 111 with all these other projects, but you're not going to graduate to the next stage." So that's what we're saying. Like, so if those things are included in the next curriculum, the new curriculum, that would be good.
Yeah. No, it was well thought. They thought about it very, very nicely. I only hope they will implement it as well. The way the document looks very, very good.
Now, the question that I have is that, do you colleagues think that they will succeed if they do not upscale their financing like what has just happened? They are opening schools tomorrow. There is no money for the schools. The schools don't have the money today.
Yeah,
Schools
that's
don't
one of
have
the
money.
challenge. That's one of the challenges that they have to look at, because you cannot just talk about things like this and then you don't commit yourself financially. To me, it's definitely going to be a big challenge. I don't know whether they have changed their budget allocation system and how, because one of the things that can be challenging in such a system is the bureaucracy of getting the money to the right people at the right time. So if they haven't thought about that, for example, if it's still centralized, the Ministry of Finance and all this type of thing, it's going to be challenge for a secondary school in Kaputa to get the money from Lusaka in time to do something. So yeah, financing should be, of course, should be increased, because this curriculum looks expensive, of course. So the financing should be increased from the previous budget. And of course, the systems of money transfer should be simplified, not what we've just seen. I saw that, Achanda, with the thing you sent me, where they are saying tomorrow we are opening, we haven't got our budgetary allocations yet. So that shouldn't be the case in this case. It shouldn't be the case. They should simplify the system, and of course, more money into the education ministry.
Also, to stop the permanent secretary from putting money in his. I don't want to say it anyway. Huh?
Which player magazine?
They should tighten the issues to do with financing also when the money goes into the ministry, so that people should adhere to procedures, especially controlling officers. And I have this one in mind. I think my colleague Kamoko, what he did. I'm yet to see what kind of punishment will be meted on him, having done all what he did.
I think I'm lost on that one.
No, Kamoko, Joe Kamoko.
Eh, what did you do?
Are you the only Jew? You didn't see him appear before Park?
Yeah, no. Remind me.
You have not seen him. I'll send you the link so that you can watch him in Park, because trying to start to explain is just wasting a lot of time on it. I'll send you the link so that you see the audit before parliamentary committee, and how it was grilled about certain expenditure procedures that were not followed. So I'll send you that so that you can see it away from this conversation.
Okay. Areas to the prayer curriculum and how it's going to be revised and the importance of it to trade in the modern system.
Maybe let me link it so that you see what I mean. We're talking about finances that are required to make sure that this new curriculum is implemented in the most perfect manner, or at least with minimal disruptions. And the part of it is that to be accountable to the resources that are going to be given for this particular curriculum, and to tighten the loose gaps to avoid like what has happened to what the PS did. So I don't want that to happen again as we move forward.
Anyway. No, but that's good to know. But I think what we need to preach the point right now is how is it going to impact the new curriculum system? How is it going to impact?
No, Ratan, we know that if implemented right, the impact will go. That is what is there. But we cannot avoid to speak about it. No, this one will not speak about it. No, that is my submission.
Okay.
You understand?
No, I'm not saying we cannot speak about it, but okay, go ahead. That's what I'm saying. Like, give us more details. For some of us, don't have.
That's why I said I will
interest.
tell you the details. It's a very simple thing. The park is there, and the Permanent Secretary Minister of Education, and the expenditure. You will see how he dealt with the finances. So you will see that.
Okay, but
Now,
well, before I see that, you can agree to say the new system that's been implemented right now through the European government in terms of changing the curriculum of Zambian students and children is a plus, isn't it? I mean, we can all agree this is a good thing. I don't think.
No, that way you are telling me what I should agree to, isn't it?
Oh, okay. Oh, you don't agree?
You know what I'm saying? Are you telling me what I should agree to?
No, I don't know. I don't know what you feel. I'm asking you how you feel about the whole system being changed from 1960 program that we had, curriculum, to the modern day, the 20th, 21st century system. I don't know if you agree or disagree with that one.
By the way, I'm a teacher as well, Achanda.
That's why I'm asking you this question.
And the one thing is that the history of education, I have taught in everything, and I've been trained from primary to secondary, and I've taught. So in terms of implementing the curriculum I have, if you heard what we said the curriculum, every time curriculum should be able to start to respond to the needs of the community, society, especially looking at it this time. But this is an expensive venture. The question that I want to ask, which you may not have the answers or you may have, is number one, are we going to have adequate financing with this curriculum change, transformation? If the answer is yes, everything else falls off. Everything else falls off other than to say, this will be good. This will be best. This will be one of the best things that has happened to the country. That is if the answer is yes. If the answer is no, unfortunately, it is like would have jumped from a hot pan right into fire itself.
What you just said there. By the way, Wachanda, when you're talking, mute your.
Oh, sorry.
So that there's no echo.
Okay.
What you've just said there is very important, Wachanda, to say the financing. When the minister was announcing the changes that this curriculum was going to be implemented starting this January, I never heard him talk about money, the budget, the funding. To me, that was supposed to be one of the biggest statements of his announcement, to say, we're changing this curriculum. It's a new curriculum that is, of course, very, 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 everybody, when you look at it, everybody says it's a good thing, it's a good thing, it's a good thing. But I think he should have announced that the same day. People should have heard him say, because it's an expensive curriculum, the government has stepped up the funding from value X to value whatever. But I never heard of that. I never heard of that statement to say that mentioned money-wise, money, the budgetary allocation to this curriculum, whether it definitely is supposed to be doubling or even tripling the previous budgets going to the Ministry of Education. So I never heard of, even the Minister of Finance should have mentioned at one point to say the curriculum we are rolling is expensive and this the money, in money-wise, people want to hear what commitment the government has. But I don't think any one of us has heard that statement being given to the public regarding the budgetary allocation, other than Mr. Msokotwane's budgetary statement he made in Parliament in the beginning. But I would have loved, as a common man who doesn't understand figures, I would have loved the government to simplify it for me to say, in the previous years, we used to spend this amount of money in the Ministry of Education, but now we have increased it to this one because we are rolling out a new curriculum. I don't know if any one of you has that information or not, but I've never heard a statement to that effect.
Yeah. Well, I think we was blind just like you when it comes to in terms of figures on what amount of money will be or implemented or put into this new program. Um, I think it wouldn't be a substantial amount. Well, even if it is, I mean, if it's something that's going to change the lives of our the generation coming behind us, I think it's worth it. I think we all know like education is a key to any economic situation, and we've seen how most of these developed countries actually, in fact, in the East, if we can borrow from China, or we can borrow from Malaysia, and all these countries, they invested heavily in education so that the kids can be educated and everybody should be educated. And once they're educated, and then they start questioning certain things. And once they start questioning, then they start coming up with brilliant ideas. I think it will be more of having specialized teachers with specific skills to teach, our children in specific skills. So if we're looking at having, instead of that agriculture program in secondary school, instead of having that one just to be like a just, what was it called?
Production unit, whatever
Yeah,
they call it.
yeah.
Use something like that.
So instead of having a program like that, because that one was just like then you write an exam on that. No. Let's make it into a real serious program where
No,
you can take.
I can send you the document. It's really there are specific subjects for natural sciences stream, specific
Mhm.
subjects for agriculture science stream,
Mhm.
specific subjects for technology stream. So they are very, very, very good.
Okay.
But the good thing I see in this new curriculum, every stream will be taking computer sciences. So in every stream you do computer science, which
But
is good.
maybe my other point, just what Wadana said, I really definitely Wadana, I agree with everything you've said. Everything. Every point that you've made on this matter is really, really something that I've been thinking about as well. So I think it's just a question of the document, like what Dan is saying, is really good in terms of what the structure looks like. But the question is that what do we talk about? How do we actually raise financing for this so that we don't lose the traction that has been done? So I think other than that, for me, it's just that question. If it is answered and maybe the plan is shared and the people are ready to know and they're able to see that, it should be good.
Yeah, I mean that's good. That's brilliant. I think it even brings us to the next topic when it comes to agriculture. I mean, I don't know if everybody knows, but ZAF is now producing a huge amounts through the directive, of course, with the president. He said like, look, all the armies in all the security wings, including Zambia Army, Zambia Air Force, they should now engage themselves into agriculture. Because I mean, if Zambia, we know we don't have war, we never had war. So what are those personnel doing at this point? What are they doing? Aside from going to foreign missions and stuff like that, what are they doing? And we keep employing them. So a call has been made, and 600 hectares of land in Imbala, which was provided. The Zambia Air Force is now as we speak, producing white maize. Okay, and that's just one farm, and they've got two farms. So they've got two farms. So this is just one example where if a president says something, then we've got leaders that can be able to say, look, as we are going through this uh, you know drought situation, lack of maize and stuff like that, what can we do as a service? So ZNS was the first, now Zambia Air Force. Now the next will be Zambia Army themselves. They've said, look, if Zambia Air Force are doing it, what about us? So Zambia Army as well are going into the same group, okay, to produce all this type of maize and that we need, that the country needs. So as I was saying, I think the last podcast we had, I told you, like in the next coming 1 or 2 years, you're gonna see a reduction of price of maize because we will have a lot of maize on the market to a point that we can be able to export and be able to feed the whole country. I don't know if you guys have heard about this.
Yeah, we discussed it with Chanda 2 days ago. Yesterday on Friday. We saw the Zambian Air Force people touring that farm in Mbala and showing the people, the Zambians, that 600 hectares of white maize being cultivated there, which is a very, very good thing. And I told Chanda to say, this is a very good thing because, as you have said, we have thousands and thousands of these military people that do nothing. Every day they go to their bases and come back home and do nothing, but they're on payroll. Why not utilize this manpower in this productive manner? All right. One of my brothers used to be working. We worked for Zambia Air Force for almost 30 years. He never went to war. It was just every morning he would wear his military uniform and go to work and come back. So I can imagine him having to be used in this exercise would have been more useful than him just being on payroll for all those 30 years. The concern that we might have, as Chanda also talked, when we discussed yesterday, the concern that Zambia always has in terms of our maize production is our neighbors. We normally, when we produce, we normally have either maize leaking through Malawi or leaking through Congo or leaking through some other places. People start getting this maize because when it becomes cheaper in the country, businessmen will take advantage of the availability of this commodity and they will say, okay, it's only 100 kwacha in Zambia, but the Congo DR, they would buy it for 500 kwacha. So that's what happens all the time. And you find that our maize will start being smuggled into the neighboring countries for profits. So that the government should
continue talking. Just give me a minute. I need to just deal with one thing. Just continue talking. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Okay. Yeah. So I think that's the worry that we should have when we produce this maize. Is it gonna start leaking out of the country into the neighbors for profit? We should tighten that loophole. The other thing that I know is positive in terms of food production in the country, the president has encouraged the so-called voluntary national service. And this is where people that want to volunteer would go to these farms and do some stuff there, loading stuff or something, not very technical, of course, because that would require training. But this is why the president says, if you want to volunteer to secure food in the securing of food for the country, you can go to any of these facilities and volunteer. Go to that farm and go and do something for the day or for an hour or two, then come home. And that's a service to the country. Though the PF people were talking about, these guys that are going to be going to these camps are going to be trained how to fire arms and all that type of thing. There's nothing like that. If you go to a farm, I can go to a farm tomorrow and volunteer there, loading bags of maize in a truck or something. Doesn't mean that I'll become a military person. But the Mwambas just blew it out of context to say UPND is looking at training militias and all that, which was just outrageous. But if I'm going to volunteer in one of these farms and do something there and then come back the following day, I haven't become a military person. I don't know whether you have something to say about PS.
Like you say, then for me, the issue, I have a lot of questions that have not been answered around the issues to do with this First of all, volunteers. The issue of volunteers is a lot of questions that have not been answered. My experience with Zambia, and unless I am told that unless things have changed, where people are going to volunteer for nothing. If someone tells me today that in Zambia, someone can go to ZNS and work from 7 to 11, or maybe 7 to 4, and just walk away like nothing has happened, not to be given food, not to be given what, I don't think that makes sense. It should not be that, and that is why the question where you see the Patriotic Front asking you questions about it is that no, it can only happen when you're training someone for future use for something. That is when you can tell them to say, oh, let's have you volunteer. And is there a job inside that, oh, when you start now rolling out Zambia National Service recruitment, those will be your targets? Then what kind of orientation is going to happen to them? Because ZNS is a military wing as well. You must understand that they have a general there trained nicely in weapon handling and everything. They are not civilians. So what kind of training are you going to put them? What kind of conditions are they going to be working? If these answers are provided, especially when the questions arise from the people like Emmanuel Mamba raises the question, let's not quickly to say, no, why are you asking? No, provide the answers to him. So
what is Emmanuel Mwamba's question?
Emmanuel Mwamba's question, the question that I'm asking you.
What is Emmanuel Mwamba's question?
Vachanda, we are talking about the president has announced that there's a voluntary, starting this January, voluntary national service program. So if you are a citizen and you want to volunteer in one of these farms or with government institutions where you need labor, and you can go there and volunteer for hours or minutes or a day or two, and then that's what the program is all about. Now, Emmanuel Mwamba, because it's targeting these same farms we're talking about, people can go on these farms and help with in terms of labor on those farms for an hour or two or a day if you want, and then come back. Emmanuel Mwamba, as usual, wrote this long article to say HH is trying to train militia people. Okay, so which is outrageous, of course. Why does he want the Zambians to be going to this national service army camps and all that? They will be trained into militias or something like that, which is something which is totally wrong. When you're going to go and volunteer on a military farm, it doesn't mean that they will train you in.
Maybe because before you even came in, because I was still making my point. The question is, if you do not answer my questions, and then you say they are outrageous, the questions become outrageous when they are not answered.
What questions do you have? Let us answer you.
I am going to provide you the following questions. Number one, what are the terms of engagement? Are people going to work? Listen, are people going to work for free?
It's volunteering.
And then so they will take themselves to where they go and volunteer and work for nothing, come back at home. Number two.
Okay. I think we're talking about two different things here. We're talking about two different things here. Okay? We're talking about the big aspect of where no, now we push so like into one socket.
Some questions then I was saying a series of what I'm asking questions about this. I want to pose questions and then you can answer them.
Ask those questions.
So you know what you can do is you can even take a piece of paper and write my questions. And then you can answer my questions. Number one, what are the terms of, who knows the terms and conditions under which these people will be working? Because when you say volunteers, there are issues of even getting injured at that place of work where a person is going to volunteer. who will deal with aspects of injury at that place of work? Is there a job inside, outside that? Are they going to be trained in military tactics, handling of weapons and whatever? Are they going to be trained? Second, how have these people been identified? Have they already been identified? What was the identification process? Were people just walking there to say, oh, nice, I'm volunteer? Because volunteers can show up. People can just show up in the morning. They don't need even to do anything. They just show up. Oh, are they going to have a register of those people that are volunteering there? What will be the clearance to decide that they will be working on, knowing that this is a military site? So these questions are being asked. So the younger questions, then people say, hey, wait a minute. These are militias that you are trying to train. Then you say, no, they're outrageous. No, before you rush to being the questions being outrageous, provide the answers first. And then number two, engage into these conversations where you bring them to the table. Because at Emmanuel Mwamba's level, he's not just an ordinary person who's just like, oh, you can throw away. No.
It's a propaganda.
No. And that's where the problem comes in. That kind of demeaning outlook at him when he's raising critical questions, when he's raising matters, is what is wrong. Why don't you have a conversation? Sit on the table, bring him over. You are the one in the government. He said, this is what that's how you clear out. You don't clear people by shouting out when people criticize you. They don't work like that. So these questions that are being answered, can they be answered?
Okay. So can we answer you now?
Yes, you can answer me.
So you have raised 2 points. You're talking about the training.
Points, but not two.
Well, you're talking about training, and you're also talking about the volunteering, how it's going to be interpreted.
Two,
right? Now, okay. So training. Let's start with the training first of all, before we go anywhere. Training. So training, just like any other institution in the world.
Can you mute your mic, please?
Bakazia. So training is just like any other institution in the world. The way training is done when it comes to service is standard. Okay? So us being Zambia as a country, sovereign country, that what we call upon Zambia National Service, Zambia ZAF or Zambia Army, any individual who's going to go through that system has to go and have a basic training in terms of military. So even if the program is about farming or what you call it, technology, they have to go through a certain system. I can tell you for a fact, my cousin graduated from the University of the Copper Belt, but he works for ZNS. Okay? But he had to go through a simple, what they call it, simple training, really. Okay? Because you're already qualified and they need you for certain position or certain things. Okay? It's different if you go in as a full military training where you say, okay, now I'm going in full. Then they start you from ground level until you reach at a certain level. And when you reach a certain peak, then you can now decide which department you want to go and work. Okay, that's different. But all those things are provided in the system. Okay, so it doesn't mean that Zambia Army or Zambia National Service, then you cannot have engineers. You cannot have scientists. You cannot have people that can think.
No, Bachanda, I think you are answering a wrong question. What your PS is asking is, there's gonna be a volunteer program known as Zambia at the National Service, Voluntary National Service. Any person from the Cairo Road can go to any one of these farms and spend 1 hour and come back home.
Yeah.
Load the maize. So you can volunteer to any of these farms that are farming growing maize on behalf of the country. As an ordinary citizen, you can come from Kabata, go there, load maize on the truck, free. You volunteer to be a laborer on the farm for 1 hour, 2 hours, 30 minutes, and come back home. So that program is being rolled out. Zambians will be free to come from their home. If you have 1 hour, you can go to any of these farms and help out with labor. That program has started rolling out. Now, the Mwamba has said, "Hey, why are we rolling out this program called National Service, Voluntary National Service?" Said, "Oh, you are going to be training these people on those farms to be militias. When they come from Kabata, you go in the evening. When you come back, they have trained you how to shoot a gun or something."
Yeah, no.
That's not the thing. To volunteer on these Zambia National Service farms, you go and do a labor work, manual work. You help out with simple tasks. You're not going to be trained like Zambia National Service people. No, you are just going there for 30 minutes and you come back home. So the president is encouraging people to volunteer on these farms to go and help out if they have time. So this is a question that is asking.
But Dan, you see, what Vachanda is saying is what is correct. What you are saying is what is planned. There is no way you can be with a military base to work for anything without having to be aligned with your mindset in terms of what ZNS values and the core things that stand for, and also be security conscious in case something happens there. So they have to prepare you there. Iyomulela and Davadani is a civilian component of ZNS.
Okay. So since you're saying I'm right, what I was saying.
Let me bring you to speed. This is what I'm saying. This is what is questioning. That's how the questions come. How are you identifying those people that you are taking through that process? Are they just showing up? But then rather than that, people just show up and they are able to support and help what is being done. Even Moneland that they must be trained. Now these are two different scenarios that are at play from two UPND supporters.
Was explaining uniform ZNS officers,
No,
uniform
he's
staff.
talking about volunteers,
Okay. So here's the thing. If we're talking about volunteers, the topic here change now. When it comes to volunteers, around here's the thing. Any individual can volunteer to do anything in Zambia. Okay? But in Zambia, the volunteer system.
There's a no. Let me.
No. Listen to my point.
Don't say we don't have when I want to tell you where.
No. Give each other a chance to talk. So, the volunteer system in the Zambian system or to issue, it's neither here or there, because if you look at the Western world or most institutions, they will rely on they will tell you like, look, they will encourage you, in fact, when you're you're in school, say you do some volunteer work. That's going to look good on your resume. Okay. And then when somebody comes and employ you, I'm going to volunteer for so. It gives that humanity. They say that Uyumuntu is somebody that has a human heart. Okay? So if we're telling our local Zambian young kids to tell them to say, look, can you go and volunteer and go and, and in fact, here's the thing. The president himself, when he pronounced that, he said, my children will be the first people to be volunteers. Okay? As we're speaking, they're being trained. Okay? They're being trained as volunteers. Okay? Not as somebody, to be paid money. No. volunteers. They're being trained as we're speaking right now. Now, if the president's children are being trained as volunteers,
The
what about
our president's children are being trained right now
as volunteers?
Children,
Yes.
they are ZNS being trained as volunteers.
I can't say it's ZNS, but it's a security arm of the government. It can be ZNS, it can be the ZAP, it can be Zambian. But what I'm telling you is,
Do you know how big that statement is?
no. Let's not dilute the situation. He said it himself to say, my children will be the first people to be volunteers and trained as volunteers. So when he announced that program, he said it, my children will be the first people. Okay? Just the same thing that Kaunda did. Remember what Kaunda did? All his children went through military. All his children, Kaunda's children.
You realize the statements you are putting, you are saying are very,
I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you what it is. Maybe you may not know or have not given this information that I'm telling you, so that you have it in your head before you make any statement. So you should know. Look, we walk the walk. We just don't talk the talk.
But you are telling me on this platform that the president's children are being trained as volunteers to go into military services.
Yes. 100%.
Do you know that is very dangerous? What you've just said. If me, you cannot say what
was it dangerous?
But you can't say what you said. You cannot say what you said. I beg you have to retract that statement.
Okay. Now, okay. So here's the thing. When Kaunda's children were being trained in the military,
there was
you know about that, right?
System. I know. Let me tell you, because there's a few information that I think you are misleading yourself here. Number one, in Zambia, we have laws. First of all, there's an apprenticeship act there. And then there's also the Employment Code Act there. It specifies how a person is going to be engaged to go and work elsewhere. If a person is going to be a volunteer, you must give them a contract that is saying they are volunteers this. So that in case of injury, people must know who's as the burden of proof, who's the burden, who's going to bear the cost of making sure that that person is rehabilitated. There must be something written. That's why you are done. You can't just show up and say, oh, let's have a injured. And
of course, all those things.
I'll tell you one thing.
If you are interested in not listening, I can explain. But if you want to interject, I can stop.
I've volunteered at UTH. There was no paper.
But I'm telling you what the system rules are. But if you are going to say no, it doesn't matter what I'm telling you, just go and volunteer. This is why people are raising those questions that you are raising, Melissa, because when people tell you what the procedure is, you say, no, man. No. People have the right to ask you the questions and tell you to say, no, you presentation, you can't have your children start to, we don't know when they were engaged. Who else is being trained for the same processes?
Let me ask you one question.
How did you engage them? Yes.
Prince Charles military, all the kids.
Procedure. In fact, not the only one. Even in Zambia, there are people that have volunteered. These people are not the first ones. That is why the questions are being asked. And I'm telling you, procedure when you are volunteering in Zambian law right now as things stand, because what you want to change every day, but register, and how the conditions under which those people are working. It must be there. That is the rule. Those are the rules in Zambia, and people have the right to question those rules to say, because they are not working, they are not drawing whatever resource is being spent on them is not from their pocket. It's from the
But Sarah, are you there?
n'abamutuka bazeera zikitala
Eti mutugende omufana mwati nakulande.
so bazeera uko mulefu aliokuya kwali ama procedures nga mulefu akubengeshe. No one is saying you cannot bring volunteers in ZNS, but what procedures are you following? How do you recruit them?
Did you read Mwamba's statement?
Yes, I read it.
He said these people, when they come back from volunteering, they will be military people, and the crime is going to go high in this country because we have so many people that will have guns that are able to. They will be military people by the time they come back from volunteering.
But
That's what he said.
yes, look at how we analyze it.
Are they gonna? Are they gonna volunteers? They are gonna be taught how to military attacks, how to attack a person, how to.
You cannot take a person in the military wing and think that you allow military training without them adopting the military way of thinking. That is what the bigger picture that Emmanuel Mamba was trying to bring to you. Is that abamule folk train and what training chimuli field TV. Uko abuloko bafule shoka abuloko batana mfuma tikabiye niyo bafuminya. Oh no.
That's not the case.
Special purpose for them. Now the special purpose that you have for this, the transitions after volunteering. What is the transition? Is it to just you shake their hands community? Now, is it that those are the first line of preference when ZNS is recruiting? So if it is those are the first line of
Yeah, okay. That's a good point. That's a good question. I'm going to answer you this way.
Listen, Bachanda, let me finish.
No. Because you have raised all these things have been raised. But let me answer you.
2 seconds. 2 seconds, you're answering me. What is the transition points? Is it that are identified? Are you going? What is it that you've said will happen after the transition to that? Because then other people must have the same shot at getting that preference.
Okay, so just to answer your question, our president Validandire, he said it like, look, we understand how things are. We can train a lot of people, but abantu valia volunteers will be the first priority who stay employed in government systems, starting from nurses, doctors, everybody has been volunteering in the Zambia Air Force. They'll be the first people that are going to be considered. So if you are going for that volunteer work, just know your next job is there. You are the first. Ngawafika pekulia. Resume, what's your resume? Oh, I volunteered. You are the first priority to be employed. Okay? So those are the things. Okay? So let's not confuse our let's not bring in information that's not true.
Oh no, there's no information.
No, let me finish. He said, go and volunteer. And I will make it an example. My children will be the first people to volunteer, to go and volunteer. Same thing that Kaunda did. All his children, they went through the military system.
They did not volunteer.
Okay? All Kaunda's children went through the military system. Right? So now here's the thing. Me, I'm answering your question because you asked the question. All right? So and I don't know if you want me to answer.
No, but I asked the question, and what you are saying is different. You are saying Kaunda children, those were not volunteers. You are talking about volunteers here. That was a national law for everyone to go to ZNS. It wasn't.
I've just told you, HH has proclaimed and said, my children will go through, they'll be the first people to go through the volunteer system.
That doesn't make it a law.
I've just told you.
That doesn't make it a law.
No. Okay. When if we could start going, should there be a law?
Yes, because they are using different resources on me. You see, in government and in public service, they're
Mwaga kuvuganya ebintu. No, 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 no. Twagazia. No, no,
and
no.
the problem
Here's the thing. Let's not confuse our listeners. Let's not confuse our listeners. I think we need to really uh, say if something is good, it's good, and not only kula tapena nika, argue just for the sake of
who has said this is good? Who is saying this initiative is bad? Who is saying that it is bad?
yeah, because the way you're talking. So I've told you you're talking about the training system.
No, I'm
I told you,
asking.
I answered you on that one, and I told you on the volunteer system. I told you that.
What did you tell me?
I mean, wait, volunteer, Namiera, training, Nankia. Okay, if the president himself is taking his children to go and volunteer, it's the first step.
Yes, but it doesn't make
Okay,
it a law, Bachanda. The president taking his children there because he has decided to does not make it a law. It doesn't. You have to have a national identification system of this group of people that are going to be volunteers in ZNS. And this identification system must be not hidden, it must be published, everyone aware of it, so that when the president is taking his children there, everyone is aware. Because
so
where the children are going,
let me just give you an example. Let me just give you an example. Last week, okay, last week, nurses that were volunteering they have been employed now, fully been paid. They're now being employed. They're on government payroll because they've been volunteering. Okay, so this is what we're talking about. Abantu mwena Zambia. If you have a skill, go and volunteer. Don't just sit home. Okay, go and volunteer your skill. At the end of the day, one day you'll be able to be employed as a full pension worker within the government system. And people have been, if you go and watch yourself, go to Manasoko, go to all these other institutions. I'm volunteers, they're now working now. They've been employed full time. But they've been doing it for the heart of Zambia.
what you are just confessing, that is very wrong if that is what is happening. Because there are laws in the country of how people are recruited in the mainstream public service. We have a law. Part of it is not that you can volunteer to be employed in a civil service or public service, you have to volunteer. It doesn't exist there. If you use it as a basis for employment, it is discriminatory for those people that will be in it.
That's not what I say.
No, I'm
That's one avenue. Well, there are so many avenues. That's one avenue.
I'm just telling you that if you are doing it that way, it is wrong.
So okay, tell me this. You're going to tell the Zambian people not to be volunteering. That's what you're saying.
That is you saying it.
No, tell me.
You
I don't understand.
Don't say that is what you are saying. Because Zambian people can hear me say it. What you have just said, it is you who are saying it. Here is what I'm saying to Zambian people. That volunteering is not in the law for you to be considered for employment. Under Section 4 of the Employment Code, that is discriminatory if you use it. Unless you have a platform in the law that allows you to do it. That, people at the volunteers will be given first preference. Or it becomes a part of the terms and conditions of employment in that sector, where you write to say, the terms are here. So for people to be coming first, our first preference, our first line of given are the volunteers. Then people can use it. But by decree, I'm a volunteer, you not apply English first. Let's have a system that allows people to volunteer everywhere in the country, everywhere. Written rules, written policy framework, and people follow it. I don't have a problem with that. But as the law stands today, unless there's something that changed, volunteering is not a basis for employment because it's volunteer as it is. Another person can be busy doing something, and another person can be unreasonably advantaged by the people that work in that system. Position to go and volunteer. Volunteer, transition into full-time job. When are those people that are in that sector not going to know? That's why if it's police, it will only be children that live in the compound. Soldiers to be children soldiers. No, these must be national programs benefiting each and every person. That is
anyway, Wasera, are you there? Can you come in on this one? Wasera.
Akulandeni.
No.
This one, yeah, oh, it's like I'm off guard, Mondin, on this one.
Doctor.
I support the program, and I think the people that are criticizing it procedural wise, I think they're just over exaggerating matters. There's no complications that will arise from these programs. It's just encourages people to be patriotic to their country, to work for a few hours doing something for the country for free. So I don't see anything wrong with it.
Yeah, fantastic. So I think at this point, I think we've done everything and talked about everything. Unless there's something that some individuals wanted for us to discuss, but I can tell you for a fact, not to start analyzing on some issues. Vakalin, I don't know if Vakalinda is there. Or she's still in Kumalira Ngoma. Vakalinda, are you there or what? We can see her here, but we don't see.
I'm here. I can't say a thing right now. I don't have. I'm here. I can't. I don't have a voice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm just listening in the background.
Okay. So I think we dealt with most of the issues, unless there's something else that needed to be added on. I think we can call it a day.
Ranting today.
That's it?
There's no rant today. There's no rant.
Ranting. Okay. So
give the people their rant, please, Papa.
But then never come over rant.
Give the people their rant.
Go ahead. Who's gonna start?
But Danny, start the rant.
Doc, what's your rant for the day? Okay, you pissed him off. You pissed him off. Sarah, what's your rant?
My rant is first of all, you guys congratulate me. We just had a baby girl yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
My family is growing. I thank God for everything.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, we have a beautiful, beautiful girl yesterday. That's my granddaughter, my first granddaughter. I already have 2 grandsons.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh,
so my rant for today, I just want to thank you guys with the programs that you bring and the way we handle the issues. And I just want to say what's happening with Bamumbipi Fyakuifwaira.
Yeah.
Vamumbipiri valeteka ja. Vanakashi valeteka ja. Mkanwa mulya. Sometimes it's better to keep quiet. And if you're kulasangwa yose ma problems yose vamumbipiri weshwafe. That's my rant. Never feel call say. It looks like some people they are like they just want to like the name to be mentioned all the time, and me I can't see myself to be in sales all the time. I would try to avoid the areas which would take me to sales. This is what I was telling my daughter. Next time, I want to take Anya. You know, like my father used to say, like my children, my dad passed on, he was 91. He said, in my family, we grow old. So equally you children, if you can like, we know that people can die anytime, but there are certain things that when you do them, they can take you quickly. So he was saying, if we family more, there was only one person that passed on then we were very sad and we said, oh, okay. How old was that person that you are saying passed on Muvwaiche? How old was he when he passed on? He said 77. Then we laughed. We said, why are you laughing? We said 77 Ikuru, you know, according to us. But we've seen people at 75, 80, they're still looking good. So in short, what I'm trying to say is that, especially for the young people, sometimes you need to take care of yourself. You need to like stand up for yourself, not finding yourself in issues where the police is chasing you. You know, like when why me, national why me? I don't know what it really means. Why me? Why me? Maybe he knows who he is by insulting and having a foul mouth. Maybe that's why he even named himself Why Me, you know. So that's my rant for today. And why me should be changed.
My rant, a big one. My rant is that muleke selective justice. If you are kulekerera ekibokolo kiretukana muleka kawai muleke. Ero futi muleke bamungipiri kubapeera the right charges, not that if you are kumuka kamwai because therefore kuba shutting up. Shutting up a person in that manner is not right. So transparency and accountability must be there, but not trumped up things. Anything for the better. Not that you go in the name of UPND Mulechitamba. You are just watching Chatukana, Kawaii, Katukana, Maika, Kawaii in 6 months. It's more Mulechitamba, Mulechitana praise hours. Both why mean a Chimokoro, Bafuloku same boat. Baring Guineans, but you said not to however, that is not right. Our country deserves a better justice system, and you guys in government, you have every responsibility to do that. I hope to see the difference. Thanks.
Submit, sorry. I know that a ranch is not, but the voice of Sister Kalinda. Bakazia, I know that we don't need to respond to a rant. Bakazia, you know, as much as you'd want Chibokolo, whatever Chibokolo to be with, why me? You know, if that's going to be a case whereby two people are insulting each other, then they should go to jail. Then everybody will be in jail. Because Wakazia, we can insult each other, right? Whatever insults that we can push. But if I get one group of people, I start saying, for example, because Chanda Kazia, I don't know what Kazia is, if it's Bemba. Now, one group na iwika pamoja na ambo kuituka. You are insulting that group, which is not acceptable. You know, this is what we are talking about. So, Chibokolo wale why me? But why me started insulting the younger group, which is not good.
Vasero, kwali bauyo mukashanga watanda tawe bamwafya moyo kumata nali watili free. takwa ale tukomutundu yatapala lefi achitika pali yena ati imwe balanganisha niko tule ya mule pya kumatako na nwene pona mabisi. He's there. Nothing has happened.
Let's talk about the subject matter. Let's dive into let's talk about the subject matter.
Don't say that's the subject matter of you shouting is right for shouting what. That's what I'm telling you. You say for me, because it is very difficult to create a package from that kind of foul stupidity.
Bacha in life bacha muri bakuru nene mukuru ninge bacha na grandchildren yatatu bacha life of yaba de umfweni bacha bakazi in the words of sister Kalinda stay mute because you want to speak a few bachanda life of yaba morning if we bonse tuli bakulu twakulira mu Zambia and we've seen how things happen. Sometimes umulobe kuchachira omulandu uyu fyapitaka but iwe yasakukumpula. You know what I mean? So we are not going to be comparing to you ali chitire why me yali musange ishta uliomwaiche bachanda tamoya mfu hapo ensele shimwe shatukana uliomwaiche uliomwaiche alikuwa tamukana omwabola uliomwaiche nga ala tukane FB nga amba kutuka omuntu so you didn't carry him
mu voice yaba deep thinker
yaba kalira sister mu voice ya shani
yaba deep thinker lady Sarah
ba deep thinker
imwe awe ile la ni kwata program ya papa hivi hapa ni kwata Valentine I'm discussing there's a company, there's an academy that has decided that they want to interview me and my son. The Valencia Academy here in Canada. So, okay, people.
Anyway. So if you want to, like we've been trying to discuss, Iriashiri is a very, very important topic because we have to understand. I want to, how in the world was that young man had that opportunity to discuss certain issues or maybe just insult the current government. Like the war, like abale mtu mani wanani abale mpenda mani wanani. Okay, but doctor, are you there?
All right. Even if my voice is a little, let me just come in for just a minute. That young man. I mean, like I listened to Lady Sarah. I mean, I feel sorry for him and his background. I don't know if the parents are in his life. He found PF surrogates, bought him a phone, gave him 200 kwacha bundles, and bought him a Toyota Vitz, and unleashed on the Zambian society to insult any elderly person, anybody who is against PF. He was out there. He was a loose cannon. I mean, I've just never seen such a young man with like Lady Sarah said, instantly. I mean, I tried to listen to his video or videos. I couldn't finish them. It was just too much for me. I mean, I felt sorry for him. I felt sorry for the parents, his relative, his friends. And now look at what's happened to him. Somebody reported him in Livingston, arrested. He can't come up with sureties, even 10,000 kwacha. The people who are buying him those 200 kwacha, they couldn't come up with the 10,000 kwacha and even sign off his surety to guarantee his release. I hope this serves as a lesson to him and any other young person that's gonna come here on these platforms and just spew hate, spew hatred. I think that era of pangas and insult, it's long gone. I know if this is the PF's plan B, but we are in a regime of rules and regulations, and that cannot be allowed. I know they were spewing this last week that he had died, and yet the real reason why he hasn't been released is because he couldn't come up with 10,000 kwacha and two surety to sign for his release. That's the point. Anyway, that's all I have to say on that one. My voice is cracking up again. I should reserve it.
Same thing. Look. The guy, like everybody on the internet was saying that, oh, the guy is dead or whatever. The government has killed him or something like that. Like, what outrageous statements. By the way, he was given a bond in August, but he didn't meet the. This bond system, the way it works is, what I want to, they can stand for surety. Then he from August up to now he'd been out, but that didn't happen. Why? Because he was talking about PF. Nobody ever came there. And then Bama somebody so say I don't know I'm going to be his surety. Okay? When the court is saying like, look, we need 3 people. Okay? So him is saying, oh, me, I'm going to be one of them. And he's a hero to my children. Like,
who even wants to have your child watch those insults, my man?
Seriously, like,
would you want your son, Chilufia, to be watching that small, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm sorry, but you say he's an ugly man, little boy, spewing all that insult. I wouldn't want my son to watch all that insult.
Not even my son. My son wouldn't
never
allow my son to watch something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So
who is he going to mentor? Mausampa is playing to the gallery. I mean, he should be honest. I mean, he was in Livingston this past couple of days. Why didn't he sign the surety and pay 10,000? He certainly can afford 10,000 pin. You should have paid that and signed and find some other people.
Yeah, and if the PF really likes the guy, like they're going on the internet and talking about it, they should have presented him from a very long. This is August, September, October, November, December, January. How many months is that?
But sorry not to cut you short. You're my children. Yeah, katua friend shakulad. I don't mind children tukana. So me, I can even wonder that Sampa can even start, like supporting him. The insults that he insults. What you and these young people, they are playing. It's because of the things that are happening. There is a president. Zambia is a Christian country. You can disappear. Why? You disappear. But you are do something tangible. Stop insulting. Insults will never make you rich. Talk sense. Politics of sensible things, Tell people what you want to do. And Milady la fear, politicians. Some of us were to uniform. I'm depressed. I'm stressed. I'm stress. Who's giving you stress? He's
No,
stressed.
the issue is that
Misha
the
Monsen.
issue, sis, the issue is that these kids want quick money. You
Yes.
know, they
Huh?
want instant money, instant gratification.
Yakafuma kwisa.
They forget
Yakafuma.
that you have to work,
No,
you have to put in
she
the
said that
work.
ifisadi.
Eh. Bachanda, let me tell you. Inena ituntila po ifisadi. Ifisadi uyukutunta. You know what I mean? You go
I
in
know.
the garden. Zaba tutancha kuskulu. Shkwete uniform.
Mm,
Kama ebalanda tine shkwete impia ya kushtra uniform.
mm,
Natoka, I'll go to my uncle. My uncle was a miner, but superintendent was super that soup
mm,
mutiambuli.
mm,
Natinde kuchifu nkana's area rufua nyama kona leikala. You understand?
mm, mm,
And then I would bamana sabatinende for kuyatishkwete na transport. What do? Abaneni balatuntile ifisadi. We go at the per weekend, because we are in Zambia for 2 weeks. Now let untile fisali, mwatun
mm,
can you keep quiet? Mwatunte fisali, mwabika pa some area from the gardens, mnetwala pachimuti, where the owner will come with a truck and get the sugar cane and take to the market. Do you know your
mm,
pay? Jackson, can you silent? Do you know your pay, Bachanda? Your pay is to
mm,
go back to the garden and get the remainder of whatever you can carry. Or you can carry 12, you can carry 15. It's up to you, whatever, how much you carry. So being
mm,
a girl, a teenager, how much are you going to carry? Fee no, devil. Again, why am
mm, right.
the following day to make a bundle, and then you take to the market, you sell, and you have transport money. You go to Chamboli, wani na waya kuchamboli kulya banko basako bati ino te month end walalolela mwana wandi kalapa twalolela shaile mukupepe efyamba because nabakano kunstira uniform no
Mm, mm,
shapepele efyamba shaile mukufaya ati yo I'm stressed, I'm whatever. No,
mm,
I had to
mm,
wait for my uncle to get paid. My uncle got paid and he took me to buy the uniform kulia kusaka kulia kukitwe kulia beba to second class. I
eh,
went back to school. Do you know what happened at school? That time I was in grade 10 Bible.
mm,
At school, the last grade 10s grade 11. When they changed it, if I'm a grade.
mm, mm.
The
Mama.
teacher said your place has been taken already because you've taken long to come. You've
Mm, mm,
taken long. And what happened? I cried. Nalilila. Until the
mm,
teacher had to take me to the head teacher. And the head teacher said, Ushanai uniform at nice and uniform at Mupeleni space.
mm.
That's how you do. You fight for yourself. Again, it's not the only time that I've gone through that hard time. Jackson, can you listen your noise? I lost my husband. I was pregnant. 8 months pregnant. I lost my husband. I was only 29 years. Nganalingira muli stress nambo kula nwafyo walo kula pepe fyamba abana bandinga tabakula bafika na ku America. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm, mm,
My son was born without a father. The father was already killed. He's an engineer, civil engineer. It's because I knew the best what to do. Imomweba ichekula tukana fye, nokula no tujirijiri, kula pembera chabantu bafwe mukwate obwali kuya mukudi obwali bwafwe. Tuliso omuntu twalusa no obwali. Stupid.
mm.
You are very stupid. Yes,
Oh,
if
Vamos, vamos.
this is bad up to them.
balalolela ti umuntu afwe balalolela pali umuntu mulwere nga wanfa pechiriro ifyo fyakuka fyapa chiriro fyamba okulalya nga bakana okuba pero bwali not kukana okuba pero bwali wache pati teti tulusa omuntu tolusa n'obwali. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Who does that?
Can you imagine?
No, I think I don't know. I think our culture also, man. I don't know. Respect na ikwate Mzambi. Abaiche. Nabakulabe. I mean, if you have people like Mubipili, all that. Oh God, the talk, just the language that comes out of people's, there's no decorum. You know what I mean? I mean,
Mm,
you can you. I mean, look at Nakachinda, the way he addresses the president as if he's a 5-year-old. Look at Given Lubenda. So And these kids are watching, the people were supposed to be shining the light on Zambia's, social, cultural spectrum. So they're copying that, and then for them it's even worse. And whose idea was it to pick that young man? Why me? Knowing necessarily my children, like Lady Sarah says, instead you pick him up, give him just a little bit of money, and unleash him to the world. Who does that? I mean, there are certain words there are certain creative words you can use to tap into these young people. Like we just went through an election here. There were young people who were campaigning for Kamara, but they never ever uttered any obscenities that I've never heard before, like Zambia, Korea. They do some creative things to try to attract through song and dance and just talk. Digital stuff like that. No baku Zambia, umuntu wampela fika phone katushinganika wawe phone ka ku China na kwena ka 500 kwacha mamutana talk time. Elwa tukana.
Hello, my sister. If we had no internet, social media, but they can use it to earn money, to become millionaires in Zambia.
Look at that young girl. May her soul rest in peace. I don't know why people are not shining light on her. What's her name? Dora Mono Jambe. Raising money off TikTok to raise 500 kids. Send them to school. Kumukush. Why we mean wawe phone atukana.
Kawaii mi kafire bakashina na 20 ngwe bakashina matanda tuna matanda. Kawaii mi.
I think his way is because of course, juvenile prison. Yeah, but Livingston. So that's where he's going.
The juvenile. How old is he? Can't that boy?
I think
it's very young.
It's very young, but he looks old because of other drugs. That one can be a criminal. Just look at the face. Sophia. He has no soul. If you look at his eyes,
the only other aspect is you charge him as an adult.
He has no soul. You're my child, yeah.
Something. Juvenile.
I think he's below.
The government will charge him as an adult. Like it doesn't matter. Like look,
he's below 18, isn't he? I think he's 17 or 16.
I don't think. I think it's above that.
You think it's above that?
Yeah.
That's somebody's somebody's what is Mike? What is Mausampa say about him?
Mausampa, I really liked the gentleman when he was a mayor, and then he's been involving himself with things that are really questionable. And
these people are bachanda. Ababa sampa bati ba Mausampa imwe. Fintu bapita mona bena. Katushi no mlandu wabo fya babena uliati mbando fyo fya katushi. Do you think it's Baba normal?
That my daughter is in there. That my daughter's inspiration. I'm like, who at my daughter was asking me about why me? Why me? How old is your daughter? 8? Unless I'm being so inside a party, why me on the internet? And you are even applauding as a father. Come on now, Mouse. You can do better.
Inspired by why me? You is
that's why he jumped into the fray of trying to help him.
Anyway,
You help him.
uyu mwacho yafuira ingira tinachiwa mavakaziya navaya vamulempokolola.
Bakasiya we know Bakasiya is now. He likes to dip both ways. He dips both ways.
Oh my God.
No, why me? How you might show your mind got this?
Vachanda ushamwani mfopo shimbise leshatukana ule mwaichauda. Mwaichauda.
Bachilotara mwapoese lishakwa why me?
Why me aitukapo na ba president so kuba tukafe so personally. Nalisimona po video. But it was deleted very quickly. I took
hope that como porque mulelanda balekatitafe.
But you could see here that ewalelanda pa president walufyanya chalo cha shani ukwalelanda omwaichauja. Nishale tukana. He did that.
I hope
Who is this one? Why me? Why me?
Yeah. Now, he needs to go inside.
I we need 2 years.
I
Imagine, I'm a they even failed to raise 10 pins.
Yeah, they really
imagine that.
Yeah.
So
your parents, that is like what an or even your own siblings. They are
even
very
over restaurant, they failed to raise it. And then Malcolm was the only one who came.
Vaedgar Chagwalungu valelanda constitution shani when the ministers were whatever, they remained and they were told to do a refund. Valungu vakafa nechikongo.
I'm done.